Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest.
Hello.
Yes, I was hoping you'd do that. Dick Masterson,
What's
ladies
up,
and
man?
gentlemen.
How you doing, Shane? I love listening to you guys' show, man. I felt bad calling in because like you guys are like best buds. It's fun to listen to you two.
No, you're good. You're good. I haven't been on stream with you. How are you, sir?
Great. That's probably a good thing. Usually I give off a bad impression on streams. I don't know. I've seen some of the last one. You know, it's funny that hello sound. Me and my sister always greet each other like that, like our whole lives, specifically because it's the most annoying sound in the world. So when I hopped on that stream, I was like, "Oh, this will really set the mood." Hello, and it got no laughs. It was so funny.
Well, I mean, I had to sit there. I like that whole thing. Hold on, let me get rid of Az for a minute. Are you following this whole thing with Az? Are you watching this thing?
No, yeah. I saw he was very upset when he was trying to get his food today.
What?
Because there was produce or pronouns while he was trying to get his slop at the store. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that. Oh my God!
Super upset that there was gay pride flags at the store.
Somebody please pull it up. Like, send that. Like, this is the thing, guys. I'm relying on you. I can't watch all this. What do you expect me to watch? Like hours and hours of these retards and clip the good stuff. I'm depending on you guys. I'm depending on the audience.
Yeah.
I don't have producers like Dick does or used to. What happened to Riley? Is he not producing for you anymore?
I think I'm pretty sure he got arrested. I read on Kiwi Farms that there was a warrant out for his arrest. So I'm pretty sure he's in jail by now.
That might be true because I have not seen Riley in a long time. Wow, I'm quick to believe that. Yeah, when you came on that stream, it was interesting because, I was in a real tough spot. I'm so glad to be free from that.
You sound so much happier. Oh, my God. It's really fun listening to you. Ever since then, your review and critique of ISOM, like not just because it's ISOM, but just as like a comic book professional, I sat there enraptured by the whole thing. It was like getting a master class, like an art class from a comic pro. It was so fucking cool.
I mean, this is like verboten. Like, you don't do that. It's taboo, Dick. Like, me and Shane are not supposed to be reviewing other people's comics. But you know what? The chat paid for it. And that's the whole thing. What people need to understand is, I'm like, oh, no, please don't make me review ISOM #1 in a brutally honest fashion.
Yeah.
You have to pay me like $1,000, $2,000 for that.
No, I saw that bit. That's funny. Plausible deniability. That's good. I saw that.
The chat paid for it. I had no choice. And let me tell you something. Honesty came with it, and it was good. It ended up being, what the important thing about it is it instructed a lot of young creators. People learned from it, and I received a lot of good response from that. But it was hard because
I like knowing how to read the comic book as well. Like now I heard what you said, and now when I'm reading the comic, I can like notice these things, and it makes me appreciate the art more. I felt the same way in college. I had some art history classes, and looking at a painting before and after, they'd be like, oh, okay, now I see kind of what they're doing, constructing it, and what they're trying to make you feel. And listening to you and watching you show how it's supposed to look and explaining why gave me a different appreciation for the comic book arc, which I think is really cool. It's great. It's satisfying. It's more satisfying.
That's great. I tricked you into thinking I know what I'm talking about, and you're way smarter than me. So this is great news. I'm becoming an excellent con artist.
I gotta say, unique though, with the whole page turn and splash pages and big panels. Like, there's a whole craft to just setting those things up and payoffs and everything visually. Just saying.
Well, yeah, but who cares, Shane? I mean, we're funny book artists. It's just not. I mean, at the end of the day, like what we do takes a long time to learn. And what's outrageous about what's happening with Rippaverse and with Eric July is he thought he could just come in here. He's like, I can do the business better than them. The problem is the product he's selling is shit. Shane, you know how long it takes to learn to learn to become a competent artist that doesn't get abused by his peers. This guy was never abused by anyone. Dick, you have to understand something. When we started out in comics, I turn in my pages and they literally get kicked by other comic book artists. They'd be like, look at this shit. And they'd kick them around. And you just go, oh, God, being the best artist in high school doesn't amount to much when you're at fucking Marvel Comics, does it? It's a whole other world. And this kind of abuse helps people who have talent to grow. And this is what I'm trying to do to Comicsgate: abuse them until they grow, until they get better. And by the way, I saw your comment before. You're saying, "Oh, what was this thing about with you and Vito just the other night?" I have not watched Biggest Problem in the Universe number 128 yet. I've not had time to watch it. And people are sending it my way saying, Dick Masterson says Comicsgate sucks. And I said, Dick Masterson would never say that.
What? When did I say that? I mean, a lot of times I say the opposite of what I mean on purpose. Some people can't pick that up. But I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know.
Was it because a pedophile was uncovered in our midst?
Yeah, I was trying to get Vito to get a cover from that guy. The pedophile artist that got put in prison. Like, he's got nothing to do but try. Maybe he's faster than Vito's current artist. I don't know. But you could probably get him at a discount now that
guy's demented. Vic King was his name. And I guess somebody uncovered, like, he went by a pseudonym. We never saw him on camera. I did see his work. He did some illustrations for Nasser Rabadi. And there was this one panel that was insane where I guess Nasser wanted Dracula to be licking a woman's neck from behind.
I remember that.
Do you remember that panel? And that's when I went, there's something wrong with this guy. Because he, it was the weirdest drawing I've ever seen. I can't describe it to you. Shane, what was it? It was like his head and then his tongue was like just
wrapping around her neck.
It was bizarre. I said, this guy's nuts. So I guess there's some allegation that he is another person who was attacked 14-year-olds or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
there was more to it. I think there was alcohol involved with a minor. It was a little
giving alcohol to kids, and then that's good, man. How come he never tried that on Nasser? Nasser Rabadi, the artist, the writer he was working with, Dick, very young man, So maybe it did happen. I haven't seen Nasser around here recently, so
you probably got to feel slighted a little bit if you're working with a pedophile and they don't try to.
And you're a young man, and he doesn't make a move. Like, I guess I'm too old. I guess I'm over the hill. So I don't know the reality of this. I've just seen allegations of this. Let me just rapidly say I don't know if any of this is true, but I did see that situation in a world where everybody is calling Vito a pedophile.
Ironic, isn't it? I'm going to start selling pedophile insurance. So if you accidentally worked with a pedophile or employed them in some way, my insurance will come in. It'll cover you. It's just a small payment, a couple bucks a month, because everybody's doing it, and you can't stop it.
His name was Robert Kincaid. Isn't Billy Kincaid the name of Spawn's pedophile?
Yeah. Kincaid. That's a red flag, right? That's a big red flag.
Don't work in comics, man. If your name is already a pedophile in comics.
Oh, God damn. All right, so we're going to watch a couple of videos. First of all, let me hit you with this. I don't know if you saw this. I was going to put this on today and go through it. Medicare and Kino Casino, Warski PPP, about Eric July criticizing you and Nick.
Oh, me?
I think he mentions you and Vito. I think so. Are you prepared to deal with this?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Not being prepared is the best way to deal with any of this stuff.
That is true. We got a 23-minute video here. We're going to share it with Dick Masterson. Great to have you on, and happy to sandbag you.
It's been a while. I never thought we'd be here after the last time we talked, which was a pretty, genial plugging interview on our show, I thought, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah, I know. I really was not expecting that, but it was like 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later after I appeared on the show, and people were like, Ethan has definitely chosen his side. And I hadn't. It's just that I wasn't expecting this from Eric. I really wasn't. I wasn't expecting him to go to fully fledged meltdown over basic criticism.
Nobody on earth could have predicted this or expected it. The process of which I think you should. I think you guys, the experts, should. Should do this review critique thing more often, because it's the one thing that Hollywood has over in the independent space is everybody in Hollywood's getting notes constantly, the most brutal, eviscerating, and oftentimes wrong, but at least directed notes that they'll ever get, and nobody in the indie space, or at least not even close, gets that kind of gets that kind of criticism, and it sharpens the blade. Getting my editor of Men Are Better Than Women, in my book, I was talking about how hard it is to just get hit with all this stuff on the air. I'd go on all these interviews and get hit with all these notes for writing, and he goes, "Yeah, but it makes the steel harder. It sharpens the blade."
It's important that people do that they receive criticism, and I need to make that clear. Like, the reason why I'm in this fight with Eric July right now is he keeps saying dumb shit to kind of this flock of creators, young people who talk about being the Iron Age. Hold on a second. Fuck these guys for one second. Sorry, Worski. Worski's up in my DMs all the time trying to start trouble.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
He really doesn't like me.
Really?
Yeah, some stupid debate. It was about cuties, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. We'll find out what these guys have to say. But yeah, like, this is important. Like, if people are supposed to grow, Eric keeps saying things to them that gives them an excuse to not have to listen to criticism. And I keep having to argue over that. And they just go, well, what's good faith criticism? What's that? Dick Masterson wants to destroy Eric's business. So surely that means that the true things that he said about that book aren't valid. It's not valid criticism.
You just don't get it. Be great.
Be great.
Be great. Don't worry about how to be great. Just be great.
Yeah. Guys, there is no business. He's selling culture war totems for $35 a pop to a dwindling audience. Like, there is no 10,000 books at $40 is not a culture war.
I like that culture war totem. That's kind of what I was trying to. That works a lot better. Because I was calling it just like a bank. Like, put your money in this thing. Doesn't matter if you like it. Just put your money in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Nick Rekieta on here. I don't know what's up with Nick. Can I just say that too? Where is Nick and what is he doing, dude? Because, all right, hold on a second.
I saw him on last night.
Yeah, no, I've been talking to him. I'm like, dude, come on here and join the show.
Dude, the Camelot thing was awesome. That's one of the coolest things. Like,
I saw that.
This peaking and then Camelot swooping in and doing the Cyber Frog car. That was so cool.
Oh, I thought you meant him getting swatted last night.
No, that was the opposite.
Yeah, that was sad. Like, he's getting a lot of negative attention. All right, let me send Nick the link. I don't know if he's around, but join us here. Join us.
He flew too close to the sun with those muscly mammaries that he's got.
Yeah.
Now he's paying.
It must be. All right. Anyway, I don't want to get too into that. If Nick comes in here, we'll talk to him. But these guys don't like us, I guess, which is interesting. All right, here we go. And Medicare.
People keep showing. Maybe you guys, because you cover him a lot.
Yeah.
Does he have hepatitis C? What the fuck is going on with his? Like, he's like going like yellow spots on his face and gaunt,
and
like that looks like
hair's falling out.
So from what I understand, he's saying that he doesn't eat in a day because he needs to stay thin, he says. So he just drinks a bottle of whiskey a day, and then for food he eats one little packet of Cheetos Crunch, and he has a small Snickers.
Yeah.
And that's
I don't get
this
that.
guy's basically describing his own personal Holocaust. Somebody going on a diet. It's like, what I understand is he's not eating for at least 2-3 minutes at a time, and I can't imagine that.
You know, it gets to the point where and no offense to this gentleman here, but it gets to the point where you become so large that it's not even a point of conversation anymore. It's like nobody's going to say anything to this guy about being overweight. It's like, what the hell?
It's February and he's wearing a Santa robe, but that's because it's the only thing he has that fits him.
It gets to a point. It gets to a point. You get so large, you form your own center of gravity. You know what I mean? Like you.
Well, that is true too.
A stealth guy. Why would he need to be worried about that?
I don't know, because he's worried about the calories from the alcohol. Because it's like 1,000 calories a day from alcohol. But I honestly don't know why he's doing this to himself.
I think his mind, like, unfortunately for Nick, like, he's just fucked. He's a pure alcoholic.
But he shouldn't be. Like, he has a wife, he has kids, he has a lot of money. I think that, I've given.
I mean, is it becoming like leaving Las Vegas? Like, I mean, that's what it feels like. Because every time I hear or see about him, he looks like kind of sicker and sicker. And
what happened? Like, why did people turn on Nick? He's like the nicest guy in the world. What happened there?
I think because he's the nicest guy in the world.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah, I think that'll get you turned on real quick.
Oh shit! All right.
keeps telling me he's like
You're
drinking
not
a shit
nice.
ton every
Big
day.
I don't
bad
wanna
booty
be,
daddy.
Like, this is pretty like ruthless what I'm about to say about him, but from what I understand is, and this is my analysis of it, he's really resentful of his family, of his wife and children, because he got married young,
What
and
is
so he
this?
never had an opportunity to sow his wild oats and kind of, party and hook up with multiple women.
I
And
gotta
so he's
speed you up, bro. No
midlife
offense.
crisis now, where he's drinking himself to death because he didn't get to sow his wild oats, and he's just like engaging in weird activity, like going to that swingers resort called Hedonism 2,
This is
or
projection,
putting a
I
sex toy
think.
on his
Pretty
balls
sure.
called the baldo.
Yeah.
And
See, I thought he'd be like, super happy because with the Rittenhouse coverage and everything else, like he was one of the top streamers. I'm sure he made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
His initial Rumble contract was probably worth a lot of money.
definitely.
Like, so you're doing really well financially. Your
Yeah.
family can enjoy that. You can enjoy that. But he seems just kind of unhappy. It's weird.
It's one of those scenarios where it's like victory has defeated you. Because he's just bored, like, with his life. and he
PPP
feels
knows
trapped
all
in
about
it,
that.
and, like, I don't
Victory
know, there's a lot of people
defeating
that are like this. Like, he was saying his favorite movie was American Beauty because he related to like the main character in that, feeling trapped in that like American suburbia lifestyle.
You're
and
supposed to.
that like the reason that he died in that movie or had to die was because he didn't go through with fucking the underage girl. And like when he was talking about American Beauty, it was like really, really, really disturbing. And it was.
Well, if you like them, American Beauty's a good movie. If you like that movie, why isn't he smoking pot instead of drinking that?
I don't know.
Well, the thing
I
is,
did.
too-
I said to him I said this a while. I was
Medicare
like,
sounds
why doesn't he
good,
just
man.
Smoke pot, like it's a lot healthier
sound-
for him. He'll live a
Medicare
lot
sounds
longer.
I'm
healthy.
gonna say this. Look,
You got him sped up.
alcohol. If you're an
Oh, that's
alcoholic,
true.
which I was out, like I'm 94 days fully sober off every little thing, like cigarettes,
94
alcohol, fucking
days.
everything.
That's like the
When I
sweet
was drinking
spot
every day,
on
even if it was only 3
intervention.
beers,
They relapsed
it
100
fucks you
days
up.
later.
It adds like depression. It makes you adds anxiety, this, that. And that was just from 3-4 beers a day for like a
I
few
think
years.
part of it
He
too
drank
with
a
him.
bottle of whiskey a day.
I think part of it is a stubbornness as well, because he is like a really smart guy and he doesn't want, other people to tell him what to do. So with him, he's like, well, fuck you. You're saying that it's bad for me to drink. Well, I'm going to drink to spite you guys on Kiwi Farms and to spite Josh and to prove you wrong. But sometimes, like, the haters or the people on, like, they're right. Like, and when they're right, they're right. And he really
I
just
agree
needs to
about
stop
that.
drinking. I think
That's
is
true.
bottom
The
line with him.
haters are
He tried
sometimes
to
right.
do it for January, and we were like, oh, he's doing really good. We didn't cover him for like a month. And then what ends up happening is he gets into a hot tub with another couple. So it's Rekieta and his wife in a hot tub with a husband and wife, and they're just talking about swinging while getting blackout drunk, and it's all a big joke, but it starts to feel like, is this a joke? Like, what the fuck
Yes?
is going on, man? Like, the best way to beat the swinging accusations is to basically
drunk
start
and swing?
swinging in a hot tub.
To
I don't know what to
five
say.
local people?
And then
Five
he's
locals.
like, now every stream he's got the whiskey glass in his hand again, and it's like, fuck, man, you were doing so good for a month. What the fuck happened? I don't know. It's tough.
I think he should I think he should not care about his weight because he's skinny. What the hell does it matter? And then do like the guy in American Beauty did. Start smoking dope. He seemed really happy.
Yeah.
Eating hamburgers and smoking pot. Go play some video games. Relax. Enjoy your wealth.
Yeah, booze, man. Like, booze is terrible. Like, look, if you drink and you can handle yourself and be responsible, all for it. I'm not preaching here. But he
Well,
can't
yeah,
handle
No,
he can't handle
that's
one
not
beer.
good.
If you're doing a bottle a day, that's fucking crazy.
Bro, he counted.
And he like
I'm not,
brags about
no,
that.
no,
He,
but really
like he
counted
thinks that it's
70
cool.
bottles or like
Yeah.
37 bottles.
He had 37 bottles on hand in his room, but he
Arguably.
brags about how he drinks whiskey, like that he downs the whole bottle. Like I would brag in college to my friends about drinking, and it's what it's.
Did something happen? Like, is there some like horrible thing that happened? Is he alluded to that? That's why he's doing this.
No,
I think it's
Didn't he
very
say?
slow.
But wasn't there a clip where he said he had his worst day ever?
okay. Well, did you hear what happened? So he got
No.
catfished by a man.
Oh no, I know about man. I know about
Yes,
man.
yeah, yeah.
I saw
I don't
this,
know
man.
if that
He
was his
didn't.
worst day ever.
He didn't get catfished. It's not like he. Did you hear about this, Dick?
Yeah, I was on one of the shows where Mandy said their dad died or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to respond to someone posting either a woman or someone posting pictures of as a woman. Did
But
he
what
didn't
do you
get-
do? You
He
just
didn't
kind of
get caught
go.
chatting with her or anything, sending her anything weird. That's
He
catfish.
didn't go see her, anything like that. Catfished is like when you get caught sexting, somebody who's pretending to be something that they aren't.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever
kind of
happened.
funny, but I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's that funny. It's kind
Shane,
of funny.
Ammergad's coming to see us at C2E2. Ammergad pretends to be a woman. So
Right.
I'm gonna come see you. We're just like, it'll be great to meet you, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be us getting catfished the way Nick got catfished. I guess.
Right. I mean, I don't think Nick was thinking he was getting anything out of it, right? It was just somebody who was talking.
All right, enough of this.
Is Andy Worski going to slap the cheeseburgers out of PPP's hand? They're talking about addiction like it's the end of the world, but look at this. He's sitting next to a walking heart attack.
No, he's fine. He's fine. He's got a Diet Pepsi right in front of him.
Diet Pepsi.
That's true.
You never see skinny people drinking Diet Pepsi, Shane.
That's the worst is when you see fat people drink diet soda, but they eat everything. They think the diet soda is going to like counteract what they're eating or something, like.
His robe needs suspenders. He's so big. He's
Well,
lecturing Nick about drinking.
He keeps having to pull it across him like the fat's just trying to bust out.
It's because he's trying to keep it up with his rotation.
Oh, I feel his pain. All right, look, this is let's skip all the Nick Rekieta stuff. I like Nick Rekieta. I will hear no evil of him. Look, there's a Dick and Veto section here.
Okay.
But this is the first part. Why is Medicare supposed to hate Eric July? I wish I was there. Andy, you keep saying you're going to have me on your show. When Medicare comes on the show and goes, why am I supposed to hate Eric July? That's the time. That's when you're supposed to send me the link, pal. You bring me in there. I'll explain it to him. So you don't have to go, I don't know.
Is he supposed to hate him? Is he
No,
getting
you're not
like...
supposed to hate him. You're just supposed to think he's a
shit?
nitwit. Like
This is like my dad calling me up. Hey, I heard. Hey, there's this guy Eric July. Why am I supposed to hate him? Fuck off, man. I'm
has
working
nothing to
here.
do
What
with
are
you. No, I mean, no. Why is Medicare supposed to hate him? He's not. Medicare has nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah, I don't
Why
care.
are independent creators and Comicsgate supposed to kind of be suspicious of him and not listen to him? I can answer that question. But no, I don't get invited. Do I, Andy? No.
Explain this to me. I've looked into it. I can't figure this out for me. I'm just going to give you my honest take after reading up on it. Why am I not supposed to like Eric July?
On Kiwi Farm.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to like him. No one cares.
What did Eric July do that I'm supposed to hate him?
Honestly, dude, me and Ashton have tried to cover this on the show, and we can't for the life of us.
I think it is. It's like he.
Why? You know what?
You
Everybody
can't
in the
for the
world.
life of you figure out why a guy who threatened to execute Riley for taping $21 to his industrial warehouse, you can't figure, for the life of you, you can't figure out why that's funny. That he had multiple 6-hour live streams threatening to murder a goofball, a friend of ours whom everybody knows. You can't figure out why that's funny at all. Okay.
It's very confusing, all of this.
I'm so
He
confused.
made like a lot of money from this comic book.
2.5
and
I don't know,
people
like
are
he made some money and people are just like mad at him for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Like, maybe it's really
like he
weird.
doesn't deserve it because the comic book sucks ass.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it probably does suck
Well, that's
ass.
true, actually. You got that part right. The comic does suck ass.
It probably does suck ass. That statement set off weeks of tantrums. That's why it's funny, PPP, you imbecile.
You got to see this. Like, this is, again, this is why. Okay, watch this.
Over and over and then get other people to believe it, right? It's like this whole, well, he can't take criticism thing. It's like, where did that come from?
Where did it come from?
The way you do it is you go in and warn people, then you get attacked, then they leave. Okay, so remember, good faith, right? Good faith. These are just legit criticisms by the dickhead, by Buster Baxter. Just legitimate criticism. You can't handle criticism. This is what he says. He says the way... We talked about this yesterday. He says he jumps off the wall and destroys a brick. That is not something a normal person could do. Batman cannot do that. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
He broke his chair.
Splitting the atom, guys. We're splitting the atom here.
Well,
we
I'm just
split the
confused.
atom. He's figured it out. Between maybe a fucking ranch vehicle as well as his own personal vehicle, and the nigga's like, well, those trucks are different colors. I was confused. Like, I don't know if anybody's ever read a Spider-Man comic and was like, well, I remember seeing a truck in the first 2 panels. Consider it this. Consider it a critique of your critique. How about this? Your critique was dog shit, and I'm just critiquing your critique.
That's weird.
That's it.
Wow.
So everything's fair game
That's
when I
weird
just say
to have
it's
a critique
criticism,
of a critique,
right?
though.
So you can't take credit. If you mad, that I'm responding to your response or whatever.
Yeah,
or
I'm
whatever
totally pissed off.
Yo, dog, I heard you like responses. However you want to do it, right? Consider it that maybe
It's a critique
maybe
of your
you
critique
can't
of my
handle
critique.
criticism.
Consider that.
I'm critiquing your critique.
If this was 2002 me, I'd be all up in it. But now I move differently.
Can accept that there are people that are not going to like ISOM 1, and there are people that are not going to like ISOM 2. Oh, man, let's hash it out. Let's talk about it. Let's be men. Let's do confrontation.
Oh yeah, then you said you were gonna kill
But
us.
ain't none of that energy. I'm going around. It's all love and daps. Damn, everybody want to dap, but I'm cool. I'm taking pictures, all for everything good. Boy, I open my Twitter. You got motherfuckers calling me all kinds of shit. Shit, I ain't even. I can accept that. But for some others, they can't. They can't accept that. Well, other people do like it, and that is what makes them fucking mad. So they conflate it, or if anything, maybe it's a projection. Y'all can't handle criticism. Like, oh my God, y'all can't handle criticism. It's basically saying, this is what you're telling me. You are a punk bitch. Disrespectful. Why would I listen to a disrespectful fucking peon? You a pussy. You want to throw your hands and hide
there's
them
nothing
behind your
funny
fan.
about
God forbid
this.
Someone actually, this is like a detective. That shit's trash. You suck. Blah blah blah. Bitch. Like, we don't know what his farm is. I want to see this person be better. Like, shut the fuck up. You be disrespectful to another man and his business. Certainly, like, on some, like, this is why you keep it probably contained to the internet. And that's wise.
What?
So this is why I believe that you should learn economics. If you don't know anything else, you should learn about economics.
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll help you better understand the world, and it also will help you get less frustrated.
You know, I want to say something I've never said on air.
Yeah.
About this. So Eric had approached me to work on a comic. I didn't know what it was. You know, I didn't know. This was like 3 years ago or something like that. And I told him, you know, what I used to make at Marvel and DC, and I kind of just said I'm busy with my own stuff. And trying to be nice, I said, but if you want me to look over any roughs, look over the book, or any, you know, I'd help you out. And this shit's painful. I've never read the full book because of I'll read a little bit and I'll put it down. You see fucked up shit, stuff that doesn't make sense, whatever. It's just, for me, in hindsight, this is just like fucking like, I wish I read it.
I read it twice. I read both of them twice. How do you think I feel? And then I had to review it. You know, I mean, so
I mean, he didn't want help, like, as far as an art director or any type of insight from a comic pro, really, when he went into the book.
It wasn't about that. It's not about making a good comic book. That's the reality.
I mean, obviously, yes, we know that now, but I mean, like, just, it's weird to see the aftermath. It's just weird.
Yeah.
What were your guys like? Because that was one of the things that annoyed me right when I got onto that Flashcast stream, was how he was basically just really disrespectfully tossing your EVS, tossing your opinion out on that stream. And chat was talking about it too. They're like, why are you just discarding this guy's theme? He's a comic pro. What were your guys' first experiences with like basic criticisms like this? I mean, you talked about getting your art kicked by Marvel, but what was your process of, because you have to go through it, like it stings and then it stings less every time.
When you're a kid and you're immature, you react like Eric, but like Eric is like 30 something. I mean, I don't know how old he actually looks like. He's in his 40s now, but you're able to just kind of go, okay, these are valuable criticisms that I'm going to need to make a better product that's going to be bulletproof. Eric doesn't want to do that. Like, Eric's attitude is kind of like, well, there are going to be some people who don't like what I do, and they're going to, I guess, stop buying my stuff, and fuck them. Like, really, there's still some people who do. Like, yeah, they're the lowest common denominator is what Eric is hoping will fund his comics moving forward. To me, I want my stuff to be great. I want everyone to acknowledge the greatness of Cyberfrog, and so I sent it to you to criticize. I sent it to several people to read and give me notes. Be honest with me. Tell me what needs to change, what needs to get better, so that the book is bulletproof. And that's what we're looking for. Eric's got a very weird attitude. Like, some people don't like it. Maybe it's just not to their taste, but other people do. Those other people aren't even reading it, dude. They're not, nobody's, your friends aren't reading it. You think your fans are reading it? Like, nobody's reading it.
Yeah.
So me and Ethan's background in getting into comics is completely different. You right away got in off the Cyberfrog, right? I went to the Joe Kubert Art School like in my early on, like in my early 20s, and 3 years, a bunch of artists, we do our assignments, 10 assignments a week, have to put them up in front of the class, and then the whole class rip it apart one by one.
Yeah.
And it was 5 days a week.
It's not nice.
For 3 years, just criticism by your peers. You just learn to bathe in it. And every now and then there'll be something you're like, yeah, I'm not going to tell that guy he's right, but yeah, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make it better, And then just trying to get in at Marvel and DC, it was like, well, you suck at drawing cars. It's like, yeah, but are you really buying Spider-Man for the cars? Yeah, these buildings suck. It's like, oh, fuck. And then all of a sudden you start hyper focusing on backgrounds and stuff and getting it just right. Just to get your samples to be like, yeah, I'll take them back to the office. Maybe you'll get something.
But that's you hyper focusing on backgrounds. This is another thing that drives me fucking crazy. The 3D assets thing drives me absolutely insane. And you got Medicare. Oh, fuck. I got to play this. Hold on. Because I heard Medicare say this. And
Okay.
Fucking blow up.
Gosh, I've never read it.
I don't get it. I saw the "I wish you $1 billion" thing from Nick, and then I saw Masterson and Vito going after him, and I watched some Eric July shit where he's on stream talking, and I looked at some of his response videos, and so like he's a black guy that did a successful comic book, and I'm supposed to hate him. Why?
And like Sciver,
is that not enough?
Sciver will do like streams where he like dissects every pan.
That's it. That's all.
What are you talking about, Jim? Come on.
And like, okay, fine. I haven't read it. People state that it's a mid comic. It's like,
no, it's not a mid comic. It's an incompetent comic. See, a mid comic is a Marvel comic or a DC comic that's just not very good. It's still way better than ISOM. ISOM is incompetent. There is no story there. The art is non-existent because it's built of computer 3D assets. It is not a mid comic. It's not just okay. It's completely like it's.
There's something they said though. He's a black guy making a comic. Like that's the reason people hate.
I can't believe Medicare just
quit bringing up people's race or sex when they make a comic. When you buy a comic, it's paper. It's paper and whatever they put on it. Their fucking race or sex means nothing. It's like, and I know that's the thing. They're like, oh, they just hate it because he's a black guy making a comic. No.
No, I mean, it's just Medicare saying that is amazing. That's fantastic, dude. And I think this is like the prevalent. I think he's reading Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms has this attitude right now.
You're talking to a guy who goes on shit like Manga Kakalot and all these other fucking manga sites, and they read manhwa. Do you know how many manhwa and manga artists use fucking assets to build up cities or fucking streets or characters when they're doing a story that's fucking 800 pages?
Yeah,
it's not 800 pages, Jim. It's 100 pages that he was paid $3.7 million to produce. And no, we don't fucking do that in the United States of America. We don't do that here. If that happens in this culture, in the American culture, American comic books, and people find out about it, you get ridiculed. And these are people who are making $100, $200, $300 a page. This guy had $3.7 million to invest in making a comic book that was meant to topple the mainstream. You understand? Yeah. Stop talking about mediocre product from Japan that you're used to and accustomed to seeing, and how those people over there that get paid 3 cents and a grain of rice a day to draw, that they use 3D assets. Of course they do. Dog shit. But I had every opportunity to make the most, and was obligated to make one of the most incredible comic books in the indie comic sphere of the last 20 years. He had the money to do that, and he didn't do it. He phoned it in. It's incompetent. It's trash. The guy who he hired clearly barely even put a pen to paper. Did you see? Just put down like a 3D fucking SketchUp like figure, and then throw a couple of little sketch lines on it for texture. And then even the texture lines were shit. And Jim's like, I don't understand why that's a problem. You don't understand why that's a problem, Jim? It's embarrassing, dude.
Because it's horrible.
It
Because
isn't
it's
good.
bad. It's not good. It's if you could honestly, you could make okay. So the guy you hired to do Elephant, like his art is just cut and paste pictures of ISOM and Alpha Core with a hilarious script behind it. It's not the cutting and pasting and the 3D assets that's the problem. It's that the product is terrible. And then we say, okay, why is it terrible? It's because there was no artistry put into this at any point. At the script level, at the artistry level, at the layout level, which you went through, like at no point was any work put into this. That's why it's a problem. That's why we're harping on the 3D stuff. Because you can say, look, there's a guy floating on a couch. That's why.
Nobody
it's totally
tried.
lifeless.
You had you made every promise. Every promise was made to this audience who invested way too much money. $35 for a comic book is a lot. It's way too much. $35 that they invested into this comic book, and nobody even tried. Nobody
I'm gonna
tried
go
to
on
make
a
something
limb.
good.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say whatever manga he's talking about that uses 3D assets, it doesn't look like a 3D asset. Like,
Or
by
they
the time
made the
they're done
3D
with
assets
it,
for that manga.
yeah,
That could
yeah,
be too.
yeah. So that they're trying to make it look like it's drawn. Like Isom, it literally looked like, let me just paste it in and color it. You know, there was no drawing done on top of it.
All right, hold on a second. Medicare, come on my show. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. Come on my show. We'll talk this out.
So, like, that doesn't. I don't give a shit about that. I've heard that as a criticism. Like, oh, he used assets. Well, video game developers use fucking assets too. What,
Exactly.
you
Like,
You have to read it.
Yeah, I play shit with the asset flips that you're like, whatever.
Well, there was this whole thing with the church that was suing him because they were named Isom as well.
That was funny, I have to admit.
And then we were supposed to.
And by the way, yeah, the church sued him, and then he for like something that was so big. Here's the thing that people forget: when ISOM first came out, when it was first announced, I mean, everybody said, "Why is it called ISOM?" And so everybody did Google searches on ISOM, and you know what came up? The ministry, the church, and everybody said, "Oh, he's got a cross on his belt. This must be a collaboration with that ministry." That's the whole thing, and everybody was saying that. And then, believe it or not, the ministry kind of was like, I think people are under the same impression. They do Google searches under their own name all the time. ISOM, what is this? What the hell is this? Following him, watching him. He's very public. He's very vocal. He's calling people the N-word. He's using the F-word. He's using the Lord's name in vain.
He's hiring Satanists.
He's hiring the Piss Sisters.
I mean, there's some irony in this, right?
Yes!
Like the church has an issue, and then he's hiring the Saska sisters.
And after saying we're good Christian men and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They're
like,
fake
of
Christians.
course.
Meanwhile, here's the incest sisters.
Right. So meanwhile, like, you know, of course they're following him, and they're getting ready. They're preparing a suit. And he flips that around. This is another reason why maybe, I'm not saying you should hate Eric July, but if you want to hate Eric July, this might be a good reason to do that. He took the opportunity of his lawsuit, his perfectly, like, that was on its way. No matter what, that was going to happen. He took that opportunity to use that against his critics. He blamed you and Vito for that. And he said he had proof. He said he had proof that you guys, he had receipts that he never showed. He used weasel words, so he didn't use your name. He said that fat guy, and then you know, Buster Baxter. So he didn't ever have to say, he didn't ever have to stand behind his words. He just turned his fans against his critics.
Well, he turns these celebrities against us too. Like the Quartering looked like a total fucking idiot with his anything you need, Eric. Like, dude, you made all these e-celebs who are treating you with kids' gloves and want to bite onto your cloud and want to like support this parallel economy. You made them all look really fucking stupid.
I think he knows it now too.
I think he does too.
I actually understand them though. Like, here's a guy that's a YouTuber that basically just made millions of dollars off a bad comic. Well, we want that to work because we can make a bad comic and make millions of dollars. Both support Eric. I mean, it makes sense, like, why a lot of people support him.
Well, I mean, I supported him because it's like, well, I told my dad read it, and he said, "This is shit, son." I said, "Dad, this needs to work because this is more audience coming into the independent comic scene. You know, we want to, sure, they're going to start out with his book, but we want them to kind of churn around and then come to Comicsgate. We want more people buying indie comics." So initially I was supportive, but this poison about his behavior and his not being able to accept criticism, pushing back against his critics, and then telling me that I needed to fall into line or else there would be consequences, was too much. It was just too much. I had to get away from him. It was really important that I did. And that's how TRASHCAST was born. All right, back to Medicare.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
To jump on the side of this church that was suing him or something.
Well, they settled that. Right?
Yeah,
the church was like, yeah, it's completely two different things. We're fine.
No, that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. Come on. What the fuck kind of stupid comment is that? The church said, oh, it's two different things. We're fine. Whoops, never mind. We just burned 30 grand for no reason. RB. That's what happened, Jim? Is that really what you fucking think?
The church met with him and said, we don't want to hurt you, but we're going to have to make it clear that you do not infringe on our trademark. And they've made him do things. They've made him add a little tagline separating themselves from his stupid comic and his behavior. And we don't know fully yet. We're going to see ISOM number 3. I think they might have enforced when he talks about ISOM, it has to be I and then lowercase SOM. It used to be all caps. Which ended up looking like the church, the ministry. We're going to see whatever it is, but they're making him make some changes. Excuse me. All right.
Because his ancestor, his great grandpa or something was ISO.
Yeah,
right?
that's the other thing I don't get. So why go piss on his grandpa's grave?
Yeah, right.
I don't.
Why? Because you're laughing at it.
It never happened. Nobody pissed on anyone's grave. Somebody took a picture of it and there looked like there was a little morning dew in one single corner of the top of the grave, and the story was invented that somebody urinated on the grave. Don't you think somebody would have taken a picture of themselves doing that?
Because Eric's suggestion that he had a right to the ISOM name over the trademark of the Christian ministry because his great-great-great-great-grandpappy was named ISOM was stupid and childish. And because he overreacts to everything, somebody took it upon themselves to go take a picture of a bunny stuffed animal at the grave and clean it off. And sure as shit, he totally lost his mind about it. I can't believe you don't understand why this is funny, Medicare. This is simple, dish it out but can't take it rules. He's been bitching about Marvel for a decade, saying totally outrageous stuff, and his comic gets a tiny bit of criticism. He loses his mind. This is internet trolling 101, man. Come on.
I don't understand this.
Because he doesn't like the comic.
So he goes to this guy's ancestor's grave. I mean, we're all pretty edgy here, but there's some sort of a line. There has to be somewhere where it's this is this guy's
dressed up as Ralph's
grave.
dead dad, PPP. You did a whole stream dressed up as Ralph's dead father, and you think there's a line going to a guy who died in the 20s? Give me a fucking break. The concern trolling on this gentleman. Oh.
Wow, dude.
If the fuck is going on here? And then Dick Masterson's defending Buddy going to the grave and being you deserve this, and then Riley's having to go to the guy's office.
The thing is, I don't get it. This is what I'm saying is I've heard all the shit that's been going on because I've read up on it finally, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. What the fuck started it? What did the guy do to deserve any of it? He's got a standoffish personality. He's successful. What?
No, he is well liked.
You dish it out and can't take it
in the community.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he's a guy who says monetize your haters, and he's a guy who is completely incapable of receiving criticism at all. That's how all of this started. Was look, he made a lot of grandiose claims about what his book was going to be, and when he received one single fraction of the criticism that he's built his career dishing out, he melted down into several amusing ways. And Medicare, if you were actually watching this and following this, you'd be on our side. You would think this was funny.
You'd get it. Yeah.
But I think you're reading Cliff Notes off of Kiwi Farms, and that's unfortunate because this is right up your alley.
When this started, when Vito first started talking about doing Super Killer, And I think Tony from Hack the Movies, another guy, called in and was busting his balls. That's when I learned about Eric July, because I think I asked him, like, well, who's the most successful? If you're doing a comic, who's the most successful, like, indie comic there is? And he said Eric July, and he started saying, like, the comic's not any good, like all the basic stuff that now is all out there. And Vito didn't want people to look at ISOM and think that's what indie comics were, because it's not any good, and then they'll get a bad taste in their mouth about indie comics. When he said that on our show, I, myself, and the rest of the audience just ripped on him for being jealous for like a year. Like, we were gaslighting him, saying that it's obvious he's just jealous of a black guy, and like he's just racist. Like his comic will never do any. He'll never be any good. He's no good. Yeah, it's because we all kind of knew that. Like, he's probably right, but this is funnier because this will make him like react and get more and more angry. And it wasn't until Nina Infinity told me that he was jealous that I thought, okay, well, I mean, I'm not going to let a woman say, I mean, we all know that Vito's probably right. We're just ripping on him. Like, what do you mean? And that's when, like, that's what started this schism between, like, well, yeah, I mean, we all kind of know we all get Vito, but I mean, we're just not going to say anything because it's funnier to mess with him. If we would have known for a second Eric would have treated this the way he has, we would have ripped on him right away. Like, we never would have thought being honest about it would get this kind of reaction.
I was stunned by it. I was absolutely stunned by, his reaction to all of this. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, and I tried to talk to him in private, like, no, those are good notes, dude. Like, that what Dick is saying. No, they're not good notes. He's retarded. Is what I got in response to that. I'm like, that is a dead end, dude. I mean, somebody's actually reading the book, which is weird, and they're actually giving you notes. Like, nobody's read this book, and they're giving you good notes on how to improve the story and stuff, and you're rejecting it. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. I'm sorry. That's when I kind of fell off the train a little bit there. So
there, and he, like, I guess, was super successful, and then...
I mean, I think it drives engagement. I think there was a lot of engagement because he has a lot of fans that get pissed off when you criticize him, so they're, like, engagement farming these people.
Let me put it this way. Okay, my wife is massively racist. Way more than I am.
Let's go.
Like, crazy racist.
Right.
And,
JK.
she read up on this, too. And she's like, I don't fucking get it. Why am I not supposed to like him?
Yeah.
She doesn't get it either. She's left baffled as to why, because he made money and he fulfilled his fucking promises.
That's why,
I throwing your wife under
May we watch this video?
Oh, no. Hey, honey, come down. I'm in an argument online. Honey, can you tell me if this is funny? Check Twitter for, honey, baby. What do you think? This? Should I be arguing with this guy? You don't know.
We watched, I think, 10 minutes. I'm like, why do we hate Eric? And I don't get it. And then Ashton was like, I think he's black and successful, I guess. And I don't even think it's that, though, to be honest. I think it's just...
It's just easy drama for these people. I just don't know how it even started.
You guys had a whole episode on Ralph eating a sandwich. What the fuck are you talking about? Easy drama. Oh, my God. Oh, everybody shut it down. It's not funny. None of this is funny. A multimillionaire threatening to shoot Riley for taping money to his door. That's not funny at all.
So wait a second. Yeah, that happened after. So first was the Flashcast, wasn't it? Flashcast happened first, and then he shut down Riley.
Yeah.
He kind of melted down from there. Like, Riley was just a guy who, Eric said, if you want to talk shit to me, you want to criticize me, then why don't you pull up? Which was a threat. I mean, that we looked it up. That means, come and fight me.
Yeah.
Riley said,
or come confront me at least.
Yeah. Come confront me face to face.
It's my face.
And then he started talking about how everybody's fat. Everybody's fat, too fat. Stop being fat. And Riley said he was going to get in shape so that he could pull up and clip his shoulder hair off, which is funny also because Riley has shoulder hair. So he invented something called the Rippaverse.
Yeah.
Very clever parody.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Eric July shut him down. He shut down. He
flagged him.
He flagged him. Flagged him. Which again, Medicare. Do you remember? I mean, I know I'm old, but some of you remember Mundane Matt, right? I mean, you remember that whole thing?
He got laughed off the internet because of false flagging Dame Pesos.
So right, so that's what he did, and he basically took this guy down. So Riley shows up at his warehouse. He's driving around. He finds his warehouse, and he goes and tapes super chat money after Eric July ignored his super chats on the internet.
Yeah,
and Eric threatened to murder him. He called his
multiple times. He called the police and then said, I'm going to murder him, and then insisted on going on Nick Rekieta's show to describe this bizarre private public industrial park center with 6 driveways and 20 gates and snipers and security, and then concluded that interview by confessing to charity fraud, which was baffling, against the advice of an attorney.
Right.
Oh, it was great. Medicare, come on this show. What are you doing?
I
Laughter's
just
the best
have never
medicine.
been that invested in it. And so, like, I haven't looked into it.
Chat said he started flagging. Is that what started this? Did Jerry
Yes.
July?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but I haven't heard that.
Many people.
Well, like, that's the thing. Like, nobody lays it out, right? This is always a problem. Like, I come across it and I hear all this crazy shit about, like, pissing on gravestones and, like, going after the guy. And then, but nobody, like, is like, oh, this is why it started. So
okay, so Medicare's willing to listen. He hasn't made up his mind.
Thank God.
Yeah, he's like, nobody's laying it out. See, as soon as he hears from the chat that somebody flagged, that Eric flagged somebody,
he knows the flagging is a red flag.
That's right.
Was he flagging people? Is that what started it, or is that just bullshit?
Frantically looking up.
I mean,
come on, guys.
The thing is, though,
give me the research.
Like, everybody involved in this, I think, is like flagging and doing bullshit.
Wrong.
Because unfortunately, like,
why do you make that shit up? PPP. You don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's flagging anybody here on this side. Nobody at all. Eric is. Eric and his crew are flagging their critics. And DMCA striking businesses and things that are just parodying him. Come on now, nobody's doing that here.
That's the way, like, the internet is now.
No, it
where
isn't.
Pretty much everybody is doing all this report.
You guys
bullshit.
do it. You guys fucking do this shit. That's why you think everybody's doing it. You two do it. Fucking Muhammad Ali over here in his boxing robes and his coke fiend, who's sober for 94 days and counting.
Oh, shit. All right, hold on. We're about to go to Medicare talking about you and Vito. Let me see. Drexel's grooming. All right, here we go.
All the fucking time. Like, Dick Masterson is one that's guilty of it as well.
Yeah.
When he did the campaign against Pod Awful's Patreon.
No.
Vito's always going for people to make his platform.
Well, Vito, yes. Now, Vito made a big mistake by going after, it was a joke, but trying to get YouTube's attention over
yeah, that was bad.
Alex Jones' appearance.
I read him the Riot Act every week for like 3 weeks. I don't know what more you can do with that guy. I think he learned his lesson. I fucking hope so. The other guy that they're talking about that they always blame me for made a fake Patreon of a comedian who worked for my show and then was harvesting the names of people who subscribed to it. So he got banned from Patreon. That he got himself banned and hard. Had nothing to do with me.
There's a fucking tweet. If somebody has an archive of this, God, I'd love it. It was Masterson responding to Porcelain after Porcelain had lost, like, his Patreon or like a channel or something. And like, Dick came out with this weird defense saying, "Oh, that's freedom of speech. They're exercising their corporate freedom of speech by banning you."
Oh, you better take that little gay voice off my quote, Jim. That was a response to your debate with Nick Fuentes, saying that, yes, technically, flagging is freedom of speech. It's immoral, it's wrong, but the people who don't have accounts don't care about that. If you're going to call them a pedophile, they're going to flag you. Both of you are engaging in very immoral free speech. It's not a pretty sight, but it's not a pretty battle, but that's what'll happen. It was not a justification of Porcelain losing his channel. I love Porcelain. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I love Porcelain too. Shout out Porcelain.
He's great. He got all pissed at me because I said no one's gonna care that Ali Alexander was sexting teenage boys, and nobody does. That's my fault.
Oh, and then also speaking about Dick Masterson and Vito, who Vito also.
Well, Vito's the biggest snitch of all time. So if it's that Eric July was flagging, like, holy shit.
Yeah, fucking when I went to my fight to fight Salt Poppy, fucking Vito found an old video of when someone on my show was saying the N-word and I was laughing, and he added KSI,
all
Misfits,
the journalists
all
that were
week.
in London
All week.
And we had journalists come up to us at the
Oh,
event and
you
ask us
liar.
about this shit.
Vito's a piece of shit.
You fucking liar! The only thing you got asked at that fight is your brain still intact, Worski? Are you okay to walk home after getting your ass kicked in 12 seconds? You didn't get asked by any fucking journalist about the N-word?
They're like, you guys seem like cool guys. What's all this bullshit? And we're like, well, this is Vito the pedophile. And they're like, oh, we understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like it's
I don't know. The other thing I found a little weird, it's not going to make me any friends. But the other thing I found a little weird, Eric July delivered on his product. Vito hasn't done his comic yet.
I know.
And Nick Rekieta hasn't sent out his 5,000 gifts to his locals yet either.
I know. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that goes?
Yes, it's hilarious.
That it's
He deserves more shit for it. Yes, crack the whip on his ass. I do every fucking week. It makes me look bad. Vito's fucking lateness makes me look bad. Because I said you gotta support this. It's gonna be great. It's Vito, and he's fucking late. Every second that ticks by is shame on my soul. I can't shake it.
He can't help it. He's just the writer, man. Listen, I read the book. I read Super Killer. It's great. It really is fucking good. Problem is, he's stuck with an artist, and we artists take time. Like you write a book all day long, getting it drawn is a whole different situation, especially when you've hired an artist and it's not you that's doing it. So it's not Vito's fault. Like Vito's just sitting there waiting for this guy to get off his ass and finish the book, but. He sent me over everything. He laid the whole book out himself. So I've read like half of it's finished with the artist when I read it. And then the other half of it was him hand drawing little stick figures and everything with the word balloons in there. So I effectively read the whole thing. And it's really good. So, I mean, I got to say that. It's actually good. I was hoping it wasn't good, but it was really good. So what are you going to do? Wait for quality.
It's always like, oh, you're not fulfilling this or this or this. And then when it's their time to deliver a product, they fuck it up way worse. And then, no accountability on that.
I'm
I don't
just
think
saying,
anyone really
even
cares
Coach
about
Redhill
fulfillment.
got out Wilshire Boulevard. He got those draft copies out.
He did get those draft copies out. We need Wilshire Boulevard. Joey's King tour for 5. Hey, Jim, since you just jade me on your Ralph stream, I'll ask again. What do you think of Drexel bragging about being a child groomer?
All right, I don't want to get into Drexel here. Drexel's not a part of this show.
These guys are calling everyone groomers and pedophiles, and they're shocked when their own quotes of the N-word get sent to journalists. Is that the level that they're at? I can't believe this pedophile sent these things to this journal. Is he really a pedophile? No. It's just something we say, because we don't like him.
Lofti. Let's change the subject away from these guys and let's talk about another one of your favorite individuals on the internet, Lofti.
How's he doing? He's in a fight with the writer from Creed 2, I saw. You see that?
Yeah, I love this so much. Dude, I reached out to this writer and I was just like, what's up, brother? We're talking right now. These guys, it really is something else. Like, look at this guy's face. I like him. This guy, Matt Sazama. I guess he's written, let me see what this is. He's written a bunch of movies that I guess didn't do too well. Morbius. Madam Web. So these are two, awful movies. Yeah. Power Rangers, Dracula. And imagine being this guy, says Ray Fireball. And this guy, look at his face. I can't imagine being him. He looks great. Chio Hodari Coker. He says, you mean 6 movies with his name on the poster? Legend. You don't understand the battles, man, and just how hard it is to get one movie made. Who knows if those films reflect his scripts at all? That's a good point. I got to say. Because again, you're working with Sony, you're working with Disney, you're working with Marvel, you're working with all of these different groups to take your script and turn it into bastardized slop, and they have every right to because it's their IP. You're writing Madam Web, you're writing, Morbius. You don't get a final cut. You don't get a final say. So this poor guy, he's just like, I'll take my paycheck, please. And that's his life. That's fine. Lofty Pixels comes in and goes, who knows if these films reflect the scripts at all? Quote unquote, legend. Lol. Hold on a second. Lofty. Shut up, Lofty. Shut the fuck up.
He's such a hateable little fuck. I love bullying him so much. It's so rare. Him and Boogie, just like, they're just made for me to bully. I don't, they're like that magnet with the hole in it. Like, this hole is for me.
He goes, lol, simply being a multimillionaire while contributing nothing of cultural value, your words, not mine, doesn't even warrant relevant status, let alone legend. Oh, fuck, Lofty.
God.
Okay,
Kick his ass,
so
Seabass.
that's exactly right. He was not expecting this. So the writer, this guy Chio Hodari Coker, on the other hand, wrote Creed 2. So he actually has some decent credits under his fucking belt.
Yeah.
And he just says, essentially, you want to fight? He says, you want to come at me? I'm here under my name. I actually have time today. Which is absolutely amazing. So proud of this guy here. This is fantastic. Lofty says, I'm on a live stream right now. Well, you want to come on and chat? What did I say that you have an issue with?
They were your words, not mine. You want to come on and chat with my little anime avatar?
He says, you can call me on the phone if you want. I'm just sick of people adding me like I ain't going to respond. And this is starting to happen now. Like, you know, talking endless shit about these movies that are people's work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some point, like, they have the right to respond to some degree. You know, this guy here, he just kind of goes, or Lofty says, we're live now with almost 1,000 people. If you want to come on and chat about whatever you want, I could just send you a link. It's easy. He says, you come at me and would rather have a conversation in front of 1,000 people instead of a regular conversation with one? Really?
Come on, call in. Don't be a pussy.
Lofty says, I mean, we can chat one-on-one. I don't mind. I just think it'd be more useful to expose the conversation to a bunch of passionate movie fans so more people can hear what you have to say. Feel free to call me, though, if you want to just message me in my DMs. I sent you my phone number. Oh, God, dude. I got to see that happen. Come on the live stream, Chio. Don't be a coward. The writing is awful, and there's no way you can defend it. I've seen better stories written by 10-year-olds, and they have made more sense. See, these are the same guys, though, that are defending ISOM. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's no possible way that any of those movies is worse than ISOM.
Well, no, because they're like a complete story. They might not be good, and the audience might get out in front of everything, and they're not like exploring the characters well or making you connect with them. But at least it's like it's like a building with all 4 walls in the ceiling. Like, it's not the most exciting one. I don't want to live there, but at least it's a building. ISOM is not that.
At least it's got a roof. Yeah.
Yeah, like I had to go through a bunch of comics. Like I had to read Hawkgirl #1, which was just trans and gay propaganda masquerading as a Hawkgirl book, and I read it, and people were outraged by it. I did a review right here on this show, and the end of it, I just said, but it's still better than ISOM. You understand? Like, all of, like, as horrible as this is, and yes, it's just trans and LGBTQ propaganda. Hawkgirl is completely mistreated in this book. Like, whoever wrote this has no idea who Hawkgirl is. The writer is a trans woman who just wants to talk about her own life, his own life in this book. And at the same time, though, it's still a story. It still has artwork that was drawn by somebody. And it's still, you go, okay, I understand who all the characters are and what they're trying to do. It's still better than ISOM. So these guys, again, like, absolutely zero respect for, like, creative people. Director X was another one who came on and just kind of said, heel versus babyface, you're talking mad shit about my stuff all the time. Why don't we just have a conversation about it? And he refused, like, he retreated. Man, I'll talk to any of these guys. I'm going to get this guy on my show.
That'd be great.
I would love that, dude. I would love to talk to Chio Hodari Coker. I'm going to practice pronouncing his name correctly, just so I can get him on my show. Anyway, that's great. I love that. I love that, you know, more of these guys are having to kind of confront actual creative people who make things, and have to kind of justify to them their opinions, their critical opinions of their work. Stand behind your words and argue for what you are saying. I don't think most of these guys know how to judge media at all. And that's why, like, your you know, criticism of ISOM, which was deft and smart and on the money, was immediately rejected. And yet these people do this all day long to others.
Yeah, I think they kind of lost sight of or maybe they never understood why wokeness ruined Hollywood. It's like because they promoted woke talent above proficient talent, and they promoted woke messaging above like storytelling. So taking the woke out of it should produce a better product, and if it doesn't, that's a huge problem. If the product that comes out of removing, politics, but basically extreme progressive liberal politics, if removing that from your product or from your storytelling doesn't make a better product, then you have a huge inefficiency or problem with the products you're promoting, because it should. But it's going to be difficult. There's an ocean of Hollywood is very good at filtering out the ocean of untalented people that want to be famous and want to get their crappy or their untalented messages out there. And the indie scene doesn't really have that. They just have loud guys and big numbers. So I don't know. It's good that I think it's good that everyone's being more critical of this stuff now.
We have to. I mean, again, we talk about like, ISOM making 2 point or 3 point whatever $1 million. That's nothing. It's chicken feed compared to what a good story's worth. We have this opportunity. This money that we're bringing in is money that is supposed to pay us to be able to give us the leeway, the oxygen, the ability to create great stories. And a great story is worth billions of dollars. The money that comes in from crowdfunding is nothing. Something that stands the test of time, something like Lord of the Rings, something like Star Wars. There's no limit to how much money can be made, but we have to learn how to tell stories. We have to, if we're going to compete with the mainstream in any way and try to change culture, take culture back from these activists, that's the first thing that we have to do. It's not enough to just say, well, my product isn't woke. My book isn't woke. My story doesn't have wokeness in it. That you're just making the same mistake that the mainstream is, substituting wokeness for a story, substituting an absence of wokeness for a story is no better. It gets us no further along with things. But I'm happy to see people are starting to get that, and it's awesome. Let me see. Let me read a couple of super chats here, and then we're going to watch a couple of fantastic Eric July videos, including one called "What is Success?" Are you excited about what success is?
Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
Queen V says, I want you to be King Shark to anyone who turns on CG. Hail Comicsgate. Unintelligent Design, that's Liam, says, I too was touched by the hand of God. Joseph Fazio says, there's only been 4 or 5, I can't remember, CGers that broke the $200,000 mark. Biggie, Shane Malin, and Arini. They carved the path. G-Dash says, I do not understand Yellow Flash's betrayal. Was he really that angry over your cover rate? Yellow Flash is really low IQ. And I mean, people who know him know that about him. He's not really very smart. Yellow Flash
about your cover rate. I don't know. That's just my gut feeling. I think that was a small part of that. Probably the excuse.
Dick, Yellow Flash came to me and he said, I want you to draw a cover for my book. And I quoted him a friend rate for doing a comic book cover for a crowdfund that's going to raise multi-millions of dollars. And that rate, as he exposed to the world, was $4,000. Now, I want you to understand, the reason why I asked for $4,000 is because I don't get royalties. I'm not getting royalties for these books that sell millions. And my cover for Eric July's ISOM #2 was his best-selling cover. The difference between how much money my cover brought into his campaign versus the next best-selling cover that sold for $35, not Shane's. Shane's was $100. Fucking insane. Was $50,000. That's how much more my cover made than the next best-selling cover. Cut me $4,000.
Right.
That's not even close to what I'm worth. But go ahead and pay me $4,000. Yellow Flash was so outraged, apparently, about my rate that he blasted it across the internet. And he said, some friend charging me $4,000. Yellow Flash should know that, like, my actual cover rate is 3 times that. 4,000 is low. It's low. It's a very low rate for somebody. People, my fans are going to buy your book. It's going to make you a lot of money. You should just pay me what I ask.
I would have paid you $4,000, no questions asked.
Of course.
I mean, I'm just saying, as a guy that runs campaigns, I mean, I don't have his audience or anything, but I would gladly pay $4,000 for a cover.
Even for the art, that seems low. But you're not to be crass, but you are buying a consumer base by getting a cover drawn by either of you.
An already built-in fan base. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw that, man. That was really low to release the favor number, because it kind of felt like he was showing everybody, or he was trying to show everybody that you were placating yourself to him by showing a low number. Like it was a very weird violation of like a business ethic, I feel.
Well, I think what he was actually doing, he was saying it was too much. Because that's what I think he was saying. And the thing about it is, the thing that was so difficult about it is that we keep these things secret, because what I'm going to charge him might be different than what I charge Shane or anybody else. Of course. It's going to vary depending on how I feel, if I want to do the project, if I have time, anything like that. That it's going to vary. Okay. But what also happens is then the people that I'm hiring to do covers for me are like, oh, so you're a hot shot. This is what you're getting paid, but you're only paying me this, et cetera. It just fucks everything up. And it was really tough, because I was in negotiations with another artist to do a cover for one of my books at that point in time. It's really fucking awkward that he did that. So he's a dimwit. Like, Yellow Flash is really stupid. You can tell in his content that he's dumb. He doesn't have a lot to say. He does have a low IQ. And that was completely uncalled for. That he did that. Somebody actually did a video where they cut together. Oh my God, where is that video? Somebody send that over right now to my DMs. They cut together your issue with Ice on Flying versus Yellow Flashing.
Yeah.
See, the problem with it when you watch that video, the whole thing, is that there's so much air in between, like, the points that are being made, that, like, it's hard to really follow how stupid that was.
But, it was really stupid.
It was.
He can fly, right? I don't know. I saw like, did you guys not read it? And if you didn't read it and it didn't leave a lasting impression, none of you see a problem with this shit. That's the other thing that I don't think Metokur realizes. It wasn't just Eric July getting exposed as a fraud, Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing. It was the entire criticism, like criticizing Hollywood griftosphere. Like, all of these guys got exposed as not reading it and shilling this shit to their fans and not being able to take the criticism that they should be recommending good things. It was like an apocalypse of dishing it out but can't take it, caused by one review. Very funny.
One single review caused that. It was unreal. So weird. If somebody could send me that smash cut, that'd be great, because it is terrific. But anyway, Dick DiNardo says Sturgis looks like one of those Amish bastards who cut Shane's internet. Hail Uncle Ian Cap Happy. I'm glad Shane didn't see what Anna called him, says Russell Hall. GC 98136, you're supposed to push Webistics. Jared Neal for $10. Like caged animals being prodded with sticks, communities under pressure to devour each other when they lose the vision that united them. It's sad to see the sticks winning.
No, I hate that. Alive, thriving art communities throughout history have always fought each other over their value. Like, it's what should make you think that this community and this movement has life in it, because there is so much infighting. That is a very good thing, and it will never stop. Like, when it's old and dead and the values have been exhausted, then it will stop and people will move on to something else new and exciting. But it's good. It's like lava, spilling over, burning.
Yeah, I don't want unity. I don't know what unity is supposed to do. I do want to argue about things, and I want to make sure that, like, we're if somebody, whoever has the best idea kind of wins. I want that to be a thing. Shit, I can't find it. You know what I did find, though? This is great. Eric July explains the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
I have the Shaft music queued up. If that will help, let me know.
No, it doesn't need it. Trust me, okay. It doesn't need it here, because this is a nice remix. Beautiful.
In a time of war that they didn't ask for is much different than Hamas going in and specifically targeting innocent children.
Well, again, what's going to happen is people are going to defend that action or speak, not even defense, it's more of speaking against, let's say, a reaction, because people are going to say, well, before that, they did this, and before that, that's how it always happens. Exactly what it is. And I've dealt with this, and I think everybody here has dealt with this on more of a micro level. It's a cultural thing. And any event that someone feels, and people that like follow me know where I'm going with this, I'm not going to bore anybody with the details because I have my own experiences here. But what happens is that in the event that people have made up their mind that you are not to be liked, okay? Whether it be a person, individual person, type of person, no matter what. Anything that you do is unjustified. Anything that someone else does to you is to be justified. And like to your point, you worded it perfectly where you say, hey, you're just supposed to take it on the chin. That's the expectation it is that they have for people that they despise. Now, why they despise them, whatever. Is it because they were told? Is it hate in their heart? Is it whatever they've made up their mind that anything that you do is wrong. Any reaction that you have is unjustified. But anything that you have, anything that someone else does to you, you had it coming. It was your fault. Yada yada yada. I think a lot of us deal with this, but what we're seeing right here is this more at just a massive level. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like what's happening in my life is the same as what's going on like in Israel and Palestine. That's not what it is. I'm saying that approach to the response that people have is similar, and it can be applicable really anywhere else.
What it is.
Send them some comics. Maybe Eric could send all those kids some comics since he feels, or would he be sending Israel comics? Which one am I? Am I Palestine or am I Israel?
I don't know, dude, but
I think I'm Israel in that. Very
I'll show
anti-Semitic,
that
Eric. Very anti-Semitic story you just told.
Medicare. I don't know. You know, it might be something that you want to look at. Here is Comicsgate Drama, who came right through. I guess he's the one who did this supercut video. This is fantastic. I love this. This is great. Watch this, guys.
Just off of the book alone, you can assume he has some kind of enhanced
strength
and like flight, like that, or high agility. There's artwork of him out there like doing some flying.
I just know what I read in the book.
That's some agility stuff.
Like hovering.
Oh, he doesn't fly. Okay. See, all this stuff, Eric, is good to get out of the way in the introduction of your book.
It says in the book he doesn't
explicitly says it in the book.
Yeah.
He explicitly says it.
Flash, did
he
you
goes
read
through
it?
that internal dialogue. You couldn't
I
even.
didn't think he could fly until Flash said he could fly.
Well,
you just tried to lecture me. Hold on.
When there was the material to promote the book, there was something out there that looked like he was doing like a.
Hold on.
Flash, so you thought he could fly, right?
When he specifically goes through that internal dialogue.
I didn't say he could fly, you jackass. Flash.
No, that's not what I'm about. He goes through the internal dialogue of him not being able to fly. You just tried to let.
Wait, that's him falling.
Fly, you stupid fuck. Flash.
You just went through. No, you just.
Said he could fly. I
all
said
right,
he
so
could
you
fly.
just said this is something that I should have went through. I'm trying to explain. I don't know if we need to rewind it. I don't know if the acoustics is bad.
Well, Flash
where
didn't get
you're
it, and
sitting. What I'm saying is. You just tried to lecture me about it.
I read it when it came out. So
No, you didn't.
You tried to let.
That was my point.
And aimed at you, Flash. I don't know. I knew he couldn't fly.
No,
you said he
no,
could.
you just you can't lecture me about something that I actually went through. If you want to say that that's a failure on Flash's comprehension or something, that's fine.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about what you just said.
Yeah, it was kind of a joke at Flash's expense. Like the overall point is that your story sucks. So you don't look like you're having as much fun as you do now.
No.
In that playback, you're all like serious and like thinking,
No.
"Oh fuck, man,
Nick,
what am I gonna have?"
The entire thing was I was sitting here going, and this was such a bad situation. Like I'm sitting here going, we share an audience, and I completely disagree with him, and I completely agree with Dick Masterson. and I can't let any of that register on my face for this entire thing because my audience is going to point out, or he's going to get mad, and the whole thing. By the way, the chat's like we couldn't hear it. Hey, Comicsgate Drama, your video's too quiet. I had it turned up all the way, chat. I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, go find it on his channel. On Comicsgate Drama, re-edit it with more volume, please. All right, so here we go. Here's a fantastic video. Before we do, let me just get a couple of these big super chats. Check out these these super chats like I'll get these super chats FNT style. Here we go. Oh, Hitler's still screaming. Hold on. Yes, everybody. Illogical Mail. Wow, $20. That's so generous. Thank you so much. I remember how this started. Eric promoted ISOM, and the FNT Flash and G&G crew cheered him on without questioning who is ISOM and what is the plot outline until Dick came into Flashcast and said to Eric, hello. Grumkill Baraka says, play that sax ply, man. All right, there you go. Thank you so much for $20. That's very generous of you. Iron Mega says, what really irritates me is that Eric July had to access some of the biggest names in the comic industry and he used none of them for advice. It's what most people would kill for starting out. Sacco says, since you guys brought it up, is there any update on the Leroy Camelot Watermelon and the Afro Sheen Cadillac situation? We racing in Talladega or not? Yeah, we are. There's a whole... Listen, as much as I used to love Kiwi Farms, don't go to the Comicsgate thread for any actual fucking information. Seriously, go there for laughs. Camelot's fine. We're already in Talladega and Dover. Okay, he didn't qualify for Daytona, but that was a reach for the stars. Don't worry about it. We're good. Shadow Spawn says they went from denying using these 3D assets to defending their use in less than a month. Amazing.
I forgot about that. Eric didn't even know there was 3D assets in the comic.
G-Dash, $50. Wow. For bringing on Dick. Now you just need to get Rekieta on here. Also send me my Trump covers. Damn, they didn't send you your Trump covers? Jesus fucking Christ. I have sent Nick Rekieta the link, and I don't know what's going on with Nick. Let me just tell you. Hold on, let me just check real quick. I love Nick Rekieta. I got to get him in here. Oh, he says, not sure if I can. How long you going? I don't know, man. He said that an hour ago. How long do you need? That's perfect. Perfect response. And he said that an hour ago, so maybe he'll pop in there. And knowing you're here, he should come in here anyway. That's crazy. All right, thank you very much for the big super chats. I'll read the smaller ones a little bit later. I hate to be that way, but we got a biblical prophet of CG. We got to do this again. Hold on a second. Here's Carol's Whisper. Blessed are you for bringing forth joy and laughs and intellectual thoughts for all of us to partake in. Blessings to Ethan, Shane, and Dick. Oh, thank you, biblical prophet of Comicsgate. That's very kind of you.
Very kind.
Okay, here we go. Let's watch What is Success? What is success? Ripper, don't hurt me. All right.
That company is
wait, hold on. Back to the beginning.
Little video about success I want to talk about, and independence especially. Success it's one of those things for a very long time.
Especially.
I think everybody got conditioned this way because for a very long time, success looked a specific way depending on what the industry.
And you know what? And this is going to be all about flagging sale, like the weird sales on Rippaverse. Somehow this is going to be all about him. What is success? Success is exactly what you're seeing happen with the Rippaverse. I promise you.
What was that stock video of little girls playing Connect the Dots? Did that help?
I don't know.
Which one of his bandmates got paid, $30 an hour to make this shit? What is this?
I don't know, dude. What is this? Oh my god!
It's not long enough. There should be more of this stuff in the video. It should be the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to explain what a bell curve is or something. I don't know.
we got too many graphs on this table. Look, ladies, the presentation's on an hour. We got too many graphs here. What are we even selling?
It's one of those things for a very long time. And I think everybody got conditioned this way because for a very long time, success looked a specific way depending on what.
By the way, I see you, Eric. I see you wearing that Texas Rangers hat. And don't think that, oh, you motherfucker. Here's why he's doing this, because the Phillies didn't make it to the World Series and Texas won the World Series. And so he put a picture of me in a Phillies hat next to him wearing that. He didn't have that Texas hat before. He puts that hat on as a signal to me personally. See, we're the champs here in Texas.
He
Go
took the
fuck
sticker
yourself,
off
dude.
the hat? What? Is that a... Oh, man. What the hell?
I'm telling you, dude, that is the message. Trust me, that is the message from him to me. And I will say to you, Eric, March 28th, man. Phillies are coming back this season. It's going to be great.
The industry was...
I might be a little sensitive about that.
Mainly because you had these sort of multinational, let's say, mega corporation, corporate entities that were the definitive representatives of that industry, no matter what it was.
Crypto went like this, and then it's slowly trickling back up
man,
again.
my God candle's coming in, baby. Woo, I'm quitting. Fuck comics. I'm out of here.
Do you remember Marvel or DC offices having people in suits, Ethan, ever?
No, I never seen that. This is business and high finance, though. Business.
Entertainment, right? At some point, the driving force was some multinational, multi-billion dollar
Is that
company.
Rippa Tower?
So
yeah, it's Muhammad Atta's POV.
I mean, what the fuck was that? Is that Rippa Tower?
I don't know, man. That's where we're going. It is Rippa Tower. Look at that. Holy shit. That was
like
awesome.
Tony Stark's tower, but
No. I mean, you see the images here he's putting at you. Here's a black guy on the cell phone. He's looking up. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Rippa Tower." You know. I'm sorry. Did nobody else notice that?
At some point, the driving force was some multinational, billion dollar company. And so people got tricked.
All right, hold on. Sorry. All right.
is that the new Alpha Core tower after they plugged the child pornography into their Hella thing and crashed it? That's what Vito said happened.
It was child porno with the thumb drive?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Well, the decryption key.
Yeah.
Looks like something comparative to that. And now the world is trying to adjust because the barrier of entry, as you hear me say so often, has been lowered. The standards have been, or not the standards have
eviscerated.
been lowered. Rather, the barrier of entry has been because of things like social media. People are able to connect more directly with their customers. There's a lot of funding opportunities that allow for people that may not have money, the startup capital to be able to do cool
European
things.
comics?
Like
what the fuck was that?
What was that? Those were like euros.
Yeah.
Who's this video for, Eric?
Game, and it's allowed people to...
They're either euros or like coins for the credits for video arcades.
Arcade tokens.
Yeah, arcade tokens.
Be able to do some very, very awesome things. So success and what it looks like, I think people are still trying to figure that out.
Are you fucking kidding me? He missed a chance to say what it is when it would have been appropriate. Success and what it looks
it is.
like.
What it looks like.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Success basically looks like when you put out a comic book and then the sales decrease by 50% and then the next one 50% again. It's just a matter of perspective. You understand?
Is it me, or is his whole thing sound like a self-help book? Like, or tape, like it would be like at a Kinko's on the kiosk, like how rags to riches or something. Like,
I like Eric just telling people about success. I really enjoy this. It's like, and people listen to him.
I think that especially with independence and understanding the concept of what independence actually is, people
She's
often
about
forget,
to do a piss porn
right?
with her sister.
It is not monolithic.
Success is, and then she starts making out with her identical sister and vomiting in each other's mouths and stuff.
That's not the point, right? So success is going to look different depending on a couple of different factors. But mainly, you as an individual, or the groups of individuals that's doing said thing in that industry are going to be the primary determinant of what is success.
What is it? Like lately, somebody gave me a video where it was just like white woman, black man next to each other, like constantly now. And then somebody also showed me a picture of like Yaira next to Isom. And I went, oh, fuck, you're right, dude. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird
is this a
little thing.
Sora video? Did AI make this?
No.
Success?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we're open. Here, come and buy a fucking azalea. Nice. Thank you.
To you, I can tell you, for example, with what it is that I'm doing with the Rippaverse, I
of course.
lay it out there. What's the goal here, right? Are we successful?
Because it's
right
not
now?
selling
Absolutely.
comics.
I can't believe he brought it back around to the Rippaverse. That's crazy. What is success? And then we're going to talk about him. That's awesome. Never would have guessed.
I'm more successful beyond my wildest dreams. I never would have thought that I'd be in the position it is that I'm in right now.
Crippling debt.
I am the owner of a multi-million-dollar company. Now,
according to Tim Pool said Rippaverse was worth like $25 million, which was helpful of him. And I think a signal to Eric that he needs to sell the business. But I don't think Eric picked up on that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Success, though, and what I'm looking at to determine if we are being successful may not be the same to you. So when I say it's
P&L,
it's largely determined by the
individual. P&L?
Yeah, profits and loss. That's
Profit
what is he?
Yeah,
what's he looking at?
Yeah, there must be some other thing that he's
magic glue.
Yeah,
inside these walls.
We're taking basically we're spending more money than we're making, and we're operating at a loss. And I have not yet been able to pay myself after bringing in $7-point-something million into this company.
That's so stupid.
Success means something. Well, it's also illegal, Dick. You're not allowed to do that. If you have an LLC or an S corp, you have to pay into the system. You have to. Like I would love to not take a paycheck and just leave all of the money in my business because I would spend it making comics. But the IRS comes around and says, listen, don't do that shit. You know, you have to pay into the system, to have an LLC so you have to cut yourself a check every now and then. Saying that you're not paying yourself is not acceptable. They don't let you do that. So
individuals that are, let's say, producing that thing, it also has a lot to do with your individual aspirations. With me, my end game, like as far as my individual company, there's some other things that I'd like to do as well. But as far as the company is concerned, what I'd like to do is have this thing grow as big.
I look at Chuck Dixon's in a mobile scooter. Hold on a second. That's Chuck Dixon in a mobile scooter.
With me, my end game, like as far as my individual company, there's some other things that I'd like to do as well. But as far as the company is concerned, what I'd like to do is
put Chuck Dixon in a mobile scooter. Look at him. He looks good. Oh, it's awesome. You got some guys back here playing tennis. Look at this room. What in the world is going on in this warehouse?
That's a lot of vacant space, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's a lot of vacant space.
Why is it always like laid out like in presentation form too? Every time you wouldn't have that in your warehouse. I'll fanned out like a deck of cards doing a magic trick.
Well, I mean, this is the thing about what he's doing is the warehouse is actually a distribution center. He spent all of his money building a shipping and fulfillment operation, not a comic book company. Comic books are incidental. He could be shipping anything from here. Why is there a Glass Plus sitting there on the ground or sitting there on the comics? What the fuck is going on in there?
Wait, what's sitting? Oh,
see the yellow bottle of like lemons, like whatever that is, like spray, like cleanser. What is going on in here?
Chuck's bored like a kid at their dad's work, just spinning the chair around, scooting all around, like MODOK in there, Mo Chuck going around.
This is the guy. I think this is the guy who he's the chief financial officer, and I think this is the guy who actually flagged Riley. I could be wrong.
Oh, Alex.
Yeah, I think that's him right there. So, all right, good.
Have this thing
scoot along there, Chuck.
As big as it may. However, we would never sacrifice, and the goal is to maintain that independence while also growing. So the growth, I recognize this maybe in comparison to people that sell off their assets, let's say to a multi-billion-dollar company.
That's what Tim Pool was trying to get you to do. And Tim gave you like you really need to do that, Eric. Tim kind of gave you a bullshit evaluation of like $25 million, which would get you out of trouble, and you know, you could move on to some other
That's a
business.
hell of a
Hire a
shout out.
CEO, hire a CMO, staff that place up with comics, and turn them around and just get out of there.
Yep.
And some people, they do. That's all they do is make startup businesses and flip them. You know.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, if you're like for you and me, Shane, like, well, I'm not selling All Caps Comics because I'm here to make comic books. That's what I do. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
He decided to make comic books one day. He woke up in the morning and said, "I think I'm going to make comic books. It looks easy." So I mean, I would definitely flip this business. Holy shit!
Right? It's going to be a slower growth.
Oh,
slower and controlled growth. I'm the 100% sole owner. It needs to remain that way.
I have not seen any growth yet, Eric. I've not seen any growth. I mean, you know, not slow or steady, not any kind of growth. I've seen diminishing profits, drastically diminishing profits. I've seen you have to resort to selling off fan club memberships at $100 monthly, calling people, you get to be the Mac. You get to be the Mac. Wait a second.
Isn't that he had Little Mac? Like you're gonna say, hey, I'm gonna Mac you out, but you're Little Mac unless you spend this much money. Like that was cringe.
If you are isn't a Mac a pimp?
Yeah.
So if you're paying $100, if you're the one paying $100 a month, aren't you the John? I mean, aren't you? You're not the pimp. You're not on the receiving end.
I mean, you're also getting fucked, so you're kind of the prostitute as well. It's like a fantasy camp for hookers.
Oh my God! So you're doing all these things because everything's great. You overprinted your books, 50,000, 50 fucking. Oh my God, 50. Your warehouse has 50,000 copies of Ice on #1, dude. And that's over. Like you sold 60,000. And then you overprinted by 50 because you think there's another 50,000 people out there that want your book.
That's on ISOM 2?
ISOM 1.
Oh.
Cover C, you know, the cover that is
just talking about printing and comics, and you know this, but
my balls shrivel up when I think of this, Shane. I think about my own business and I'm like,
I had a conversation with Bob Wayne one time. You remember Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, because I was bitching because Superman Earth 1 had sold out and they had none in the warehouse and they were going to take so long to manufacture more because of the hardcover, right? It was like 3 months. And I'm like, well, I'm not getting royalties. There's heat fire on this thing. It's off the charts now because there's none to sell. And, you know, he's like, well, we've only ever overprinted a book one time since I've been here. And like before, you know, the orders came in, and it was like some Batman comic or like the Val Kilmer Batman movie or something like that, like a tie-in. And he was like, they just sat in a warehouse and we had to destroy them.
Yeah, eventually you have to destroy them because it costs more to store them than it does. Yeah,
but they learned that lesson off one book. The thing with him that really scares me is that every book he's doing, he's already trying to guess the orders. And right now he's having to guess the orders of what the manufacturer. So it's done because he's not going to have a late book. I get it. But like, how do you guess these numbers when his drop off and his attrition is like
50% every time? So
yeah, like how do you know what the print? And he's talking about success and I'm a business person. It's like
you got crowdfunding right here, dude. This is the answer to all your problems. But
for everybody in the audience, that's why every comic is pre-ordered 3 months through a retailer.
The direct market solves this problem for you. The direct market is essentially also pre-order crowdfunding. Nothing goes to print. What happens is retailers 3 months ahead of time get a catalog and say, I want to order 150 copies of Superman #2. And then DC knows they have to print 150 copies of Superman #2. Times that, times 1,900 accounts all over the world for Diamond. And they know they have a pretty good idea of the exacting print run that they need to do for each book. Eric is just guessing. Eric has no fucking idea, no clue. He's just guessing what he'd like to see happen, what he thinks he's going to see, and then based on the previous campaign. And the previous campaign keeps fucking him because he's, you know, the numbers drop off. Even worse, like he decided with Alpha Core, I'm going to lower. You're doing fine at 35. People are willing to pay 35. No, I'm going to.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't care. It's not about the comic. So you price the book at $28, thinking that now you're going to maybe sell more copies. Like, you think the price point was a barrier by $7? It wasn't. And even fewer people buy it. Now you've got less revenue coming in, and you hired Chuck Dixon. You hired a whole other artist to do this. Your warehouse is full of like useless people milling about that you've got to pay a salary to. My balls are like when I look at his business, I go, like, I get stressed out. It's really something else. And I had a private conversation with him about it, Dick, and he told me some really scary stuff about his finances in terms of Rippaverse, like really like scary stuff. And I was just like, damn, dude. Anyway,
I mean, it's obvious. Like, I've done a little bit of, not as much as you guys, but a little bit, just like shipping merch where you got to order 2,000 or something, get it in from print it in China, bring it here, and then like ship it out gradually. Having dead inventory will kill you. And there's also not that much, like, how long does it take to print a comic and ship it in for you to ship it from here?
If it's just soft cover, maybe you could get it done quick in months. I've seen books go out from DC with big accounts. Like, if you have a huge account,
you gotta have a big account to get it done.
But
big account.
What's his size? If I wanted to get like 20,000 books or 30,000 books printed and shipped to
couple months.
Couple
months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not. Still, you could order like 10,000 in advance and then order the rest as you go. I don't know. Everything about the way he's doing it seems so backwards to me. Is that not doable? Small amount?
No, you would do it. Yeah, I would guesstimate, like, let's print 20,000 of these. Yeah. I wouldn't even do that because he's not selling 20,000 anymore. He's nowhere near that. 10,000 is about right. Let's just print 10,000 of these books, and we'll get them out, and then we'll order we'll order another batch like halfway through the process once we know what's up.
I mean, people are. Like, Amazon does print on demand. Like, there is small publishing to the point where they just print as the order comes in. The print quality is not that great. Technology and printing technology will probably eventually catch up.
That's okay. No one's reading it.
Yeah. But I mean, just business wise, it's a risk versus reward what he played, and the risk could bankrupt you. Like, just in storage and the book, you're paying for the printed stuff, so you're already in debt before he's even turning the light switch on to sell.
That's true. All right, so here we go. More about what is success.
So as I say it all the time, I've turned down probably as much money as I made.
That was stupid
because I had to.
Well, wait a second. You've made zero, so
can you replay that again? That was ridiculous. I need to hear that again.
I will.
It's to remain that way. So as I say it all the time, I've turned down probably as much money as I made because I had to. Because the success that I'm looking at is controlled. Slow and controlled. And it is about giving my customers, which are newbies, which are largely maybe some of them being disenfranchised.
Can you imagine, like, anybody watching this except for us? Like, I don't understand, like, these lecture videos he makes about the success of Rippaverse. Eric, nobody cares about Rippaverse. Literally nobody. You got your start, except for us. You got your start, and people were drawn to you because you said ho-ass roads. You were, freaking out about libertarianism and stuff, and then making fun of Spider-Man or whatever it was. That's what people want. Like, they're just like, oh, this is how we have to support them. Open a Patreon. I mean, honestly, it's the same thing. Like, people just want to support you. They got to listen to you endlessly babble about Rippaverse, which is just a means for which your customers can send you, or your fans, your supporters can send you a few bucks in support. Nobody's reading this. Like, nobody's reading it. Nobody cares, dude. It really is just... God, it's like your kid opens up a lemonade stand, and you got to, like, oh, okay, and then you got to listen to your kid talk about lemonade all the time. It's like, it's the same kind of thing. Like, nobody really cares about this. They're just kind of interested in helping you, and these videos are just fucking ponderous, dude. Ponderous.
So he turned down $7 million. in investment money? Is that what he's saying?
I couldn't get a read on that. Like, I'm like,
it sounds like he's turned down investors.
Yeah,
which would have been done. Well, again, lucky them, but that would have been stupid.
All right.
From like maybe some of the more bigger publishers, right? Maybe they're not as into that stuff as they were before because they don't feel like that company is producing content for them that is for them at all. So I'm trying to, of course, give these people what it is that they want. It needs to be controlled in the sense that, again, we're not going to do anything off the wall. And yeah, would I love to get into doing
like
other
incest,
cool things?
piss porn.
We got Rippaverse Studios.
Like that.
Would I love to do live action, more animation, hell, video games? Absolutely, right? But there's another side of that as well for success for me and what it is that I'm looking at. And it's also the people that I'm able to elevate within this company. You hear me say it all the time. All the time. With the Rippaverse. Such a very important thing was correcting some of the economic problems. Definitely that I learned about that have plagued the comic book industry for a very long time. People not getting paid, people not
playing
getting
3-card money.
There's
investors there.
All that good stuff. So now I'm in a position of
what was the economic problems in the comic industry that he's talking about?
The economic problems in the comic industry. Well, I don't know.
Like he just says that like without actually explaining it. Like, so there's more of a creative SJW problem in the comic book industry, not.
Well, it's hard. You can't just say the economic problems in the comic book industry because the comic book industry is like 3 different layers. You know, it's not. Yeah. You know, it's the distributor, it's the publisher, and then it's the retailers. That's just 4 layers, and the talent. So, you know, you can't just say, well, there are economic problems. Well, there are always going to be economic problems with the talent. Of course, they're never going to get paid enough. Retailers, you know, are they making their money? They have control of that. The retailers have control over what they're bringing in. You know, publishers are not selling as many comic books as maybe it's the publishers that have a problem. But I mean, it's really kind of like vague and meaningless to say that there are economic problems in the comic book industry. No, because the publishers have giant parent companies that fund everything that they do anyway. So really, the only people who should be having trouble are retailers who have control over their lives, and then the talent. And the talent is it. The talent of the people who can't really control their own economic circumstances. That's about it.
And that crowdfunding helps with that, and that's what he wants to get rid of.
Right, exactly. Like, and the crowdfunding solves a ton of problems and makes everything possible, like all this stuff possible for talented people, but also for people to start their own businesses. You're not going to make the same 6-figure mistakes, catastrophic mistakes that Eric July has made if you use crowdfunding. But I mean, you know, look, you'll get, if you have $200,000 startup capital from internal investors, not external investors, then you know, you can get your books out right away, and you don't even need crowdfunding, I guess. But you should use it anyway.
Work environment that they want to be part of this. They want to do it. It's not just with the creative people. It's obviously with what we're doing with the distribution. So again, I have some independence there as well because, well, yeah, we do handle our own distribution. Again, that independence, as I said earlier, is part of that. But it's about them, and I guess looking at success for my company is making sure they're taken care of.
Oh my God, I work for Rippaverse. Jesus
so
Christ.
This is the other thing I really have a big issue with him is never is he telling me about the character, the quality of book, or even really the creative talent he's hiring out. He's always saying my employees and boosting up my employees. Like it's almost like him buy into my company because I have employees and their jobs depend on you.
Yeah, no, he's done that several times where he's just like,
I don't like that though. Like I have a big issue with that. Yeah, I don't. Just sell your fucking book, dude.
Well, again, talk about your book. Talk about how great it is. Talk about how cool it is.
National Lampoon's cover, the famous one where the dude's holding a dog and he's like, this dog's going to get shot if you don't buy this book. Like I get that vibe from it. Like every time he says it.
All right,
That woman looks like she's hungry. There, buying enough Alpha Core. She's looking at food on her computer.
All right. Nick Rekieta. I'm like, how long do you need? He goes, I don't know. Kind of busy. Maybe I join during my stream. All right, Nick. The answer is no. See if I join you again, son of a b.
Employees are taken care of. This is why I move a lot differently than I did in the past. Because
you're not supposed to take care of your employees, man. You're not their dad. Like this is weird. The way you're describing them. They show up for hours and you pay them to do work. You're just paying them to hang around and take care of them.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's almost like a weird way that he's shifting responsibility over his business.
Yeah.
Like, it's like their job, like he's responsible for his business being successful to keep them employed, right?
Yeah.
But if he can shift it to the customer, then it's the customer, your responsibility to keep the guy employed. It's fucking weird. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's dealing with other people and their livelihoods as well. I want them to be taken care of. I want my customers to be taken care of, and I want this to be a fun sandbox.
Oh, that was Patrick. That was Patrick.
Wait.
Taken care of, and I want my customers to be taken
Let me
care
catch
of.
this.
And I want this to be a fun.
Patrick. Patrick's waiting in line. Oh,
he's waiting in line to give Patrick a toy that his backers don't even have yet.
Oh my God, that is really sad, dude.
He literally waited in line to give him a toy that his backers don't have.
This guy is a former comic skater. The guy in the riot press, the black shirt there, all the way to the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah,
he is a comic skater who was set up in a private room, Dick, trying to whisper mutiny towards me and Shane and John. To a bunch of other comic skaters, and he took them all down with him. We kind of excommunicated him, and now he's waiting in line to meet Eric.
Oh, was that recent?
Yeah, it's just recently.
And he's done work for him too. Like, he designed the trading cards and stuff for his first campaign. So,
that was the guy in the Flashcast stream, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah. I remember his face.
Fun sandbox in which the Rippaverse is a go-to.
Oh God! Oh boy!
Casting a spell.
Yes.
Look at Mike Barron. He.
Oh, you poor bastard!
Mike.
It looks like he belongs at the VFW. How the fuck did I end up here?
Mike is like he wrote Punisher for Marvel. Like, he's a legendary comic. This is great for him that he's getting a little. He gets to siphon a little cash off of the Rippaverse.
He wrote some Flash too, right?
He wrote some Flash. He's also like a Christian. Here he is, like sitting next to the Saska sisters. My God, dude. Oh, it's just, it's something else.
Dude, why did he hire them? Like, there's so much talent that's like, I mean, I don't want to sound sexist, but a man that he could have hired in this space? Like, what the fuck, dude? What are you thinking?
So he writes ISOM, right? Like, I noticed this. He gets Chuck Dixon to write Alpha Core. Then here comes Ira or Yaira, whatever the character's name is. And he's like, let me hire a white woman. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, everybody that's working on the book is kind of the race and sexuality of predominantly the character.
So he's a black guy. So
hang on, which is super SJW in comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not saying he's doing that, but he's that track record. Now, Gooding, is that character a white male? And that's what Mike's writing?
Yes.
You see, it's already...
I thought he was a Plymouth, a Challenger. Is that...
So they're saying, though, but Shane, that logic doesn't hold up for Horseman. Is he hiring a horse to write Horseman? I have no idea.
Oh, Horseman is something else.
Horseman.
Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, like, I don't know. Eric July has a weird kind of past with the Saska sisters that I don't fully understand yet. But fortunately, we have our top-notch TRASHCAST researchers on the scene, on the case here.
So, Black Widow gets her own series, and just by the basic information that I got about everything surrounding this, I have extremely high hopes that this will be a solid comic book series. Now, Marvel is obviously trying to get some traction with the name, considering eventually they will be putting out a Black Widow movie.
Sisters wrote this.
And I've always dug the concept of the character. I think that though this may change. You know, Marvel hasn't tried to force Black Widow upon us, at least not to the extent of someone like Captain Marvel, for example, with Captain Marvel. To me, this is the first issue done right, and it makes you feel like, you know, you want to root for her considering the despicable act that is absolutely a real world problem. So it's culturally relevant and approaches some real world problems, but it feels authentic. This is just flat out good writing. Black Widow, she maintains her femininity. She's just a badass. And to me, this is how you make men who largely make up the current comic demographic.
Pardon me,
enjoy
Eric?
female characters in today's climate. The writing is so solid that I haven't even touched on the great artwork, so I highly recommend it.
So he sucked the Saska sisters' balls way back in 2019. But just watch this here. Let's play this again.
Men who largely make up the current comic demographic. Men who largely make up the current comic demographic.
You want to change that, Eric? Is that what you're trying to do? This is a guy who rails against feminism in comics and SJWs in comics. You sound an awful lot like the pussies that I used to work with at DC. It's mostly men here. It's just men, like Ethan, you're a capitalist. Like, surely you recognize the fact that 50% of the world is made up of women. And if you sell to the women, then we double our sales. And that means a lot to you as the capitalist, right? So we got to sell to more women. That is fucking unreal. They were telling me that in 2014. This is 2019. And you're sitting there like, men are mostly the readers of comics. Holy fuck, dude. Hold on, I guess one more time.
Men who largely make up the current comic demographic. Men who largely make up the current comic demographic. Men who largely make up the current comic demographic.
You can't deny that. That is an unbelievable bit of what would you call that, Shane? What is that when micro expression? It's not, those are macro expressions.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. It's weird. So that's the Saska sisters, and then lo and behold,
men who largely make
of course, men are always going to be the majority. You idiot.
Graphic.
Right? And look at this.
Oh, check this out. It is the entire deal. No Restraints Play, which was the name of the arc. Oh man.
Before his hair
Sylvia and Jen both wrote some things.
Yeah, look at his shoulder hair. It's like
it's just a fuzz at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. Huh.
So he got an autographed issue by them. They kind of went, they kind of put their hook in it.
Yeah.
It's a privilege and much love.
Up under their spell already. Look.
But something else happened because there's no this book sucked. The Black Widow fucking sucked. It was retarded. And the book is about child trafficking. And the villain who is doing the child trafficking is a circus, like a super villain type, that's just absurd looking homosexual, Liberace type. It's a clown show of a book. The art's garbage. The story is garbage. And it's really over the top. And it's I'm gonna review it. I'm gonna do a review of it here on this channel because it's relevant. But Eric acting like this was great is unusual, which suggests to me that he met the Saska sisters even before this. Right? He must have met them somewhere. And then, read my Black Widow comic, and he read it and overpraised it.
Yeah.
You mean
going
on?
Meeting at a gathering or a summoning or something? What are you
summoning? I don't know. He met them somewhere.
Bohemian Grove, man, for comics, obviously.
Yeah, there's something going on like that. I'm still trying to do the detective work on this, but none of it makes any sense. This has never happened before with Eric, where it's oh, I love this comic book by somebody who can actually really write. And then lo and behold, he hires them. He hired Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron because they were readily available to him as comic skaters. They're just here. You can hire them if you want to. But the Saska sisters should have been out of his reach. And yet he's got this history with them that I don't quite understand.
I appreciate that. So
Look how happy he is.
Enough for reading and your incredible support. We love you. I love you guys too. Jenna, Sylvia, Saska, man. Those guys are awesome. And I appreciate it. Much love. If you haven't got this, I appreciate you guys sending that to me. Oh man, this is awesome.
Man, you got some good autists over here doing good work.
Yes, indeed.
This is amazing. But they are, I know they're, for those that don't know, Saska Sisters don't obviously just do comic books.
No, they
do a lot of different things. I know
a lot of different things
right now. New movie, the remake that they're promoting. So you guys go check that out as well, and just all of their work. If you're into horror films and stuff, they're right up your alley. But this was just so very well written. But I get behind it so much, and I mention it so much, not only because it's so good, but because I think it's necessary for you guys to understand how good it is and even get it yourselves, because I've talked about how Marvel puts out a lot of garbage, right? I will admit that. It's not a secret. But not every single thing that they put out is garbage, and some things slip through the crack, because I'm amazed that really the storyline in this, the fact that it was able to sneak by, and if you've read it, you know exactly what I'm talking about, with them attacking the issue of pedophilia and human trafficking, child trafficking. Like the fact that they were able to get that in and address that in a great book, and they put it out. It almost lets me think that it's sort of snuck under the radar.
A guy with silly Billy curly hair and a pink faux hawk. Like, this curly pirate hair killed it for me. Like, all the other art is really cool and fun, and this is just it's too much, because they're just established that even though all this stuff is being drawn in like almost like a fun cartoony style, it's a very, very horrifying crime that's being committed. So having a silly Billy villain in charge of that is just like, it's
sharp
totally
analysis
off, and it's like
really
structurally inappropriate.
Exactly.
This is a guy who has a floating pirate ship who robs banks by lifting them off their foundations.
Correct.
He's not a guy who does the horrible thing that's described in the previous pages. So overall, it was quite good.
That guy's the Epstein in this
not just
comic?
interested in to review it, but as a story. And I really liked the art, and I think the Saska sisters did a good job. I think they do need to get to know Black Widow, make her more Black Widow. Read some more of the old comics. She came off a little generic here and there.
Reviewing the second
Hi
issue.
everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is my review of Black Widow #2. But the first issue was good. There were some little weird bits of the art not quite matching the story. The story is very, very dark. But it's got like this fun, colorful style. But it was solid. It was actually very good, very promising. This one is just weird.
Dark.
You can still tell there's talent and there's a lot of drive. Like, they're really trying to do a good book. But there's just no editing. They're just flapping in the breeze. I can't recommend this, and quite honestly, it was so odd and disturbing, and I kind of feel sick after reading it that I'm dipping out. I think the Saska sisters are very talented. I think they could be very good comic book writers. They've been in movies for 10 years. I've heard good things, but they need some guidance. Just because you can write a good horror movie doesn't mean you can translate directly into writing a good comic. And, this just might be too dark for Marvel.
The despicable act that is absolutely a real world problem. So it's culturally relevant and approaches some real world problems, but it feels authentic. Badass. And to me, this is how you make men, who largely make up the current comic demographic, enjoy female characters in today's climate.
With references to child pornography.
Men who largely make up
yeah, they love it. Guys are gonna love this.
All right, what are you gonna do?
I can't make this story up. It was like about a week before that video, at least to our attention, that video came up of their movie, the pissing, vomiting, whatever. Somebody's like, who is the Saska sisters? You work in comics. I'm like, I don't. barely ever heard of them. I don't know. I literally I replied to them. I say they're two sisters that look uncomfortably close in every photo, and dudes like them because they look like they're about to kiss. Then I see the video on live stream. I'm watching it off camera, and I'm gagging and stuff. And then riptards are attacking me the next day for having a reaction to what I'm watching of them. I had no idea, besides their selfies, that I was like, they look. Guys like them because they look like they're about to kiss, and they're sisters. They're pervs. That was my whole take.
Entertainment.
Oh, look at this! It's Ricky Ritardo.
Are we accomplishing
God.
that? Yes.
Oh yeah, I got that helmet.
Differently than I did.
Hold on a second. Did you get the Ricky Ritardo helmet?
To be taken care of, and I want this to be a fun sandbox in which the Rippaverse is a go-to form of entertainment.
There he is
for the people that are into it.
I love Ricky Ritardo. I like Alpha Core. It's
oh yeah, me too. I need more lines.
Are we accomplishing that? Yes. Would I like to continue to grow that? Yes. Are we being successful in my eyes? Abso-freaking-lutely. But other people's aspirations, it may not line up with mine, and that's okay.
Oh.
Some other people that's not what it is that they maybe want to do.
What it is?
Maybe they have, and it could also be in comics. This is why I say be careful in letting other people determine what is going to be successful to you. Like, are you actually following your own dreams, or are you following someone else's? And that could mess with your morale. That could mess with your psyche.
This is still him crying over being criticized.
Yeah.
That is all. What he's saying there when he smiled there, what he's saying is, I'm doing my own thing. I don't have to listen to somebody else, it is, who criticized my comic book, because my version of success is different than your version of success, his version of success. So,
the dude is literally trying to rationalize quality standards.
No, he's still like upset. Like, that's all this is. Understand? People say Eric isn't talking. Yes, he is. All he does all day long is talk about TRASHCAST. Every video he puts out is about Dick and Vito. Everything that he says, everything that he thinks is a coded way of coping with the fact that he received criticism for ISOM, and now he's been kind of deflated. He is coping and seething every single day about this. My views of success are different than those of my critics, and therefore, again, I don't have to listen to criticism because I'm moving differently. What I want to do is different. It is unbelievable, Dick.
You can see this if you get, like, if somebody's new to getting criticism in their writing or whatever it is, they'll say the same thing. Like, right, what he's saying is like, well, usually like a detective story will have these elements and this part, and you got to set that up. And like, well, maybe I'm trying to make like a new kind of detective story. And you're like, all right, I mean, I don't actually care if your thing's any good. So here's, just take it and do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. But they all say some version of that.
It's so true, man. I love his detective. He's like, it looks like Rip is trying to write a detective story and it isn't working out so well. And Eric actually said, I had the character say right there that he's not a detective. Fucking dying, dude. I love it. Oh my God, it was great.
Yeah.
I can never stop doing TRASHCAST. I never will. There will always be content like this. I don't ever have to stop. It's fascinating.
Like a movie where a guy says, I'm no hero, and then he like kills a dog. You're like, well, that actually surprised me. I thought that he was saying like, he's going to be drawn into being a hero.
No, he literally is not a hero. All right.
So really sit down, no matter what industry it is. This is not anything unique to comics. No matter what industry it is that you are in, that success needs to be determined by you.
It's not about success. Well, hold on a second. Are you talking about the fact that you haven't paid yourself at all? I don't understand like what you mean. Or your flaggings, your sales, which are declining precipitously. Man, I am fascinated. I'm completely drawn into the story of Rippaverse now. By the story of Rippaverse, I mean Eric's story. Like, I am fascinated by this. And it's not right, like I shouldn't be, because he's a competitor and all this stuff, like a business competitor, people would say. I don't see him that way. I see him as a clown on the internet. So he's not in my sphere. He's not really a comic book creator. Actually, he's just a dude pretending to be one. LARPing is one. But I am completely drawn in. I can't wait to see what Yaira does. The sales of Yaira. And I got to think they're going to spike up a little bit because of the absurdity of the Saska sisters. It's got it like it's the fact that the Saska sisters have been exposed as working with Lucifer Valentine, a man who was fucking his own sister until she killed herself.
That's when Spike sells.
It's got it. Like what else would that do? Like that's got to get.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on that, but I see your logic. I just don't think. I think it'll cause an effect. I don't think that's the effect.
People are gonna feel sick when it like with that Meyer guy that you played. Like that's a real. I can easily predict that feeling just looking at everything they've done and thinking about reading Yaira. It feels like there's gonna be something sick and off and weird in it that I don't know, man. I guess thank God that people aren't reading it anyway.
They're not reading them. It's just a matter of, are they going to give money to Eric over it? Like, see, that's the question. It's not about, is the book going to be good or not? It's going to be dog shit. It doesn't matter. Question is, are people going to give him more money for Yaira than they gave for Alpha Core?
There's something he said here that goes to what you're talking about. Like he's basically saying, this is the self-help part that I picked up earlier on. This all shit sounds like it came from a self-help book. You determine whether you're a success or not whatever you're
people. Yeah, of
in.
course.
You
It's
know,
just
and like,
bromides. Be great,
he's kind of making an excuse for future failure.
Well, yeah. Oh, okay. See, I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of already setting it up that this isn't about other people's standards or even the standards I've already set, the goalposts I've already set up. It's where my state of consciousness feels I've been a success at any given point.
He's scared of launching Yaira, isn't he? That's why Yaira was supposed to already have been launched, and it's delayed, and we don't know why. Is he scared? Did we frighten him?
Well, this is the scary part. These lines he's throwing in there, it's either crafted because it's supposed to be self-help material for, like, at the beginning of the video, some girl making coffee or making a dress, like just people with small businesses, or he's lifting this stuff because he's reading self-help books. I have no idea.
Well, Eric, listen, it's going to do fine. I'm predicting 2 million for Yaira. Go ahead and launch it, dude, and then circle the bases. It's too weird of a project. It got a bunch of crazy attention that none of your other books got, aside from the first one, and it's going to do fine because the Saska sisters, they entrance simps in a way that I have never seen before. It's really almost vulgar the way that they do it. Yaira's a female character who she's the best designed character that you have, it just seems like a layup to me. It seems like
she ran out of a yoga class. Like, how in the fuck are you gonna lie and say that's the best design character?
Well, and her costume. Look at her costume behind them. Like, you look at that and you go, that could be it's a B-level DC character, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Is it literally a B-level DC character that was lifted?
It could be. I mean, I don't know. I just think that. What I'm sensing here is fear, and a lot of it. And look at his face; you can tell. Even that still shot, he looks terrified.
Somebody in the chat said he's waiting for the Saska sisters stuff to cool down. It doesn't matter because, like, it's second that book campaigns is going to kick right back up. Like, you should not wait for it.
I can't wait to do it when the book. I'll be all over it.
I can't wait to kick that shit.
And what's going to happen is my TRASHCAST is going to promote the book. It's going to do better because. And Eric should thank me for this. My negative attention that I'm going to bring to this is going to get some counter reaction. Like your fans are going to go, oh yeah, well fuck EVS, and they're going to back the book.
Can we appreciate Dick for a second? Look at him. He looks like a cat in a canary shop. Like, look at him.
I love this. Is like never in my wildest dreams that I think anything would get this far, even a fraction of this. I'd have been happy with just the first video he made or a tweet or something, but. Promising he's never going to talk about me like 10 times and then making video after video. It's fucking great. Do you guys think anyone's going to protest his warehouse when he's launching Yaira because of the filth?
The Christian moms of America, they're going to set up.
Or the Christian Rileys of America. Do you think they're going to mount a protest of the piss porno that he's involved in?
That's
I hope
not
that doesn't
funny.
happen.
Don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I want to watch it happen. I think it's going to be a success. My opinion is Yaira's going to be a spike. And then he's got Horseman, which is going to be the nadir for him. And also, poor Mike Barron's doing a book, Goodjing. Like that, literally 0 people in the world want a Goodjing book. And poor Mike Barron's, hopefully it'll do okay. He'll make a little paycheck off of that. But you're looking at a disaster right there. And then ISOM 3, I can't wait for.
Well, he's already on
the
video.
thrilling conclusion, man. Come on.
He's already on video saying with this long thing that not every book in the Rippaverse people will like. And then he kind of brings up Horseman. He's like, I think this is going to be one of those books where people are kind of torn on it. And he's like, will there be a 2? Well, we'll see how it sells. Like he's already kind of building like a narrative that he doesn't have to follow. He's non-committed to that book.
Well, probably because he doesn't own it. Yeah, I don't care. Like all of this is great. Like this is literally like so much fun to watch. And oh God, look at his face. I love it.
Success and or failure.
Yeah.
By you. Sometimes, largely it is going to be financial. Of course. To act like that ain't part of the equation is foolery. Yes, it'll be a part of the equation, but it's not the only thing.
I
think
shit.
That's what you should consider, if nothing.
He scratches his nose every time he lies.
That's the beautiful thing about the independence. You get to determine that.
Yeah.
You get to determine what is success to you.
That's exactly right, Eric. And what is a success to you might be different than what is a success to anyone else in the world. And it's important that we understand that. You are welcome to call that a success if you would like to. God, I'm so excited about this. This is really fun.
If don't do it now, but if you ever rewatch it again, every time he scratches his nose, he's like, "Oh, that doesn't matter." He scratches his nose. Oh, the money, it doesn't matter. He scratches it like it's a tell for a lie. I think I saw him do it 3 times.
It's a tell for a bluff, is what it is. I don't know if it's a lie. It's more like a bluff situation with him. But yeah, this is exciting. We got one more video to watch here, a quickie. And this is from our dear friend Katie Did's channel. We love Katie Did. She's doing great work out there. She has put together Eric July's 3D assets and the Pick Me Daddy fans. I don't know what this is. I haven't watched this yet, but it's Katie Did, so I'm excited.
I do want to discuss something. Someone's already lying in the chat. You see right here, this MWP guy. I saw him. If he keeps lying, you know what to do, mods. But he said that I lied about this whole thing that happened with this. I guess my 3D assets. Go watch my previous video, and he said I did not. First of all, that wasn't what happened. If you go watch the actual video, I said that I will defend my artist in a lie. As an example, there were people that were going.
Eric, you're lying. You're lying about lying. I showed everybody here. You were on the African American Conservatives show, and so was I.
Shit. I didn't see that. How was it?
It was so fun, dude. It was great. They actually asked him face to face. They said, "What do you think about these people who are saying that your artist Cliff Richard uses 3D assets in the comics?" And you flat out denied it. And I showed it here, and then I showed your video the next day where you had to, what actually happened was I showed that video and then I showed proof. I showed all the 3D assets. Eric watches the TRASHCAST just like everybody else does. And the next day he had to make a video about how, but everybody does it. Of course, everybody uses 3D assets, denied it, got caught in a lie. Wonderful. And now everybody else is lying.
Around saying that the actual model of ISOM itself was some like reused asset or something of that nature as far as how he was posing. That is objectively false. That is a lie. So that's an example of one of the lies it is that I was talking about.
The lies it is.
Just making things up. Leave him in the chat. He can leave in the chat. I gave him the warning. You lie again, you know what the mods are gonna have to handle you.
By the way, I just want to say,
they're gonna air you out.
You're allowed to lie in my chat. If any of you in the chat want to lie, I don't really care. You're allowed. You're permitted. Haters are welcome.
Especially in super chats. Lie all you want.
Oh my God, lie your ass off in a super chat. Let's go. All right, let me see. Eric's 3D assets.
Okay, to the Rippaverse fandom and all the amazing support the Rippaverse brought me back my enthusiasm for comics, and now I'm editing comics. Well, shout out to you.
Hail the Lore. He's done some cool reviews on
Hail the Lore
on Twitter or X. I think is it Substack that you're on as well. By the way, he's done some reviews that are on X. Hail the Lore, that is. And he's finding out, and I love that he's gonna keep on trucking that. Look, we have a special batch of obsessive people, and they get really mad at you if you like Rippaverse stuff.
I do.
Such a weird thing,
dude. All we did was laugh at his review. We read his review. His review was objectively retarded. I mean, it was really stupid. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, people send me this stuff and it's funny and I want to react to it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's a smart, well-written review of hold on, let me see. It's I think Comicsgate Drama had this whole thing. If it's an objectively well-written review that likes it, I'm probably not going to laugh at it. But if it underscores my theory that obsessive Eric July fans are retarded, I'm going to read it. I'm going to talk about it and point it out. Of course I am. It's silliness. Did this end up here or no? I can't remember. Hail the Lore got ended. All right, maybe not.
He's right about me. It does make me angry that they like his comic. I seethe with loathing and hatred that these people have money to prop up this shit. I really, really hate it. It does make me angry. I'm not gonna lie about it.
You got asked if you wanted to put Eric July out of business or destroy his business once.
Yeah, I do.
Everybody went, what? How could he say that? That's ridiculous.
Because he's making crap, man. I fucking hate that shit.
Dick, I don't know you, nor do I like or hate you. I don't know you, but you're allowed to say that.
Yes, I definitely am.
You have to actually, if you go and do anything in life, I'll tell everybody, you should assume somebody out there wants you to fail. That's just a safe assumption. That's life. That's not illegal. That's just life.
Yeah, of course. And I brought up the movie Super Size Me. Way back when. Super Size Me was an attempt to put McDonald's out of business. If you had asked that guy, should McDonald's be out of business? He probably would have said, yeah, I want to put McDonald's out of business. Why? Because they're making Americans grotesquely fat and they're doing it on purpose and for profit. And that would be the thing. And he put that out. His goal, he did not meet that goal, but McDonald's did make changes due to Super Size Me. There's nothing wrong with sitting there and identifying a corrupt, inept, dishonest business and saying, I want that to go away. I want to put that business out of business for the sake of everybody. Nothing wrong about that. Now, you can argue about, if you think that is Rippaverse or not. But no, I mean, people saying he wants to put a business out of business is not an impressive thing. It's not a terrifying thing. It's not a terrible thing. People have been trying to put me out of business for 9 years. I've never cried about it even once.
Well, there's...
Or have I?
Sometimes when you're arguing with people, especially online, whatever they accuse you of, you just embrace. And it's like, yes, okay, so yes. What does that mean to you? Are you trying to put them out of business? Yes. What is the business? You tell me what the business is. Is it shipping comic books? Is it making shitty comic books? What is it to you that needs to survive whatever attack you think it is that I'm doing to it? And please show your work for what that is.
Well, yeah, Nick Rekieta asked you that, and it was just are you trying to put him out of business? And you had two answers to that question, yes or no. And you might as well just say yes.
Yeah.
Just exactly right. Just see what, I wouldn't mind. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
If anything,
I tried to help him, and he's called me the N-word. So
you keep him honest, keep him on his toes, make a better product. Don't get caught with stupid shit. You build an immunity to it by building better shit or not doing fraudulent shit. If he even did fraudulent shit with the charity, but
oh yeah,
yeah, right.
I think he does owe them money. He should give him more money than that $8,000. That wasn't enough.
Well, again, okay. So, what exactly are you giving to a charity when you're giving them over 2,000 copies of the same comic book that you made? What exactly are you giving them? How does that benefit anyone?
It's more inventory to store. They need money to ship to kids. They have infinite comics in their warehouse. They need to ship them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just money.
Well, that is true. Inventory in a warehouse, you got to destroy it, get rid of it, something. Because the cubic inches it's taking up, there is $1 tied to that. You know, so just inventory rotting in a warehouse. If you use a fulfillment center, it's cubic inches they charge you by. If you have product in Amazon, they're billing you by the cubic, inches that the inventory is taking up. So the mindset is anything sitting in a warehouse, you got to get rid of it.
All right, now here's Hail the Lore. I just found this thing, so we can take a look at his review. And this is, it's no offense, Hail the Lore. It's not as though I just want to attack anybody who's saying nice things about Eric. It's just that this review is funny, and that's all it is. My thoughts on ISOM number 2 from the Rippaverse. Owner and writer Eric July. Shane, have you read this review?
No.
You haven't read it?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's read it together, shall we? The world as we are introduced to new characters and why they are important. Altona's boss and founder of Projexis, Lincoln Usebio, these names, is a fantastic characters. Probably one of Eric's best written character, in my opinion. He reflects how every good leader should operate when it comes to their employees. He's hands-on with his work, not afraid of getting his hands dirty, smart, and maybe he has a military background. A standout character for me. The reason why Avery stopped being a hero to be wasn't a good enough reason to stop altogether, but very understandable if he maybe took a break or got even more brutal with his tactics. A hero will never save every single person, that's just the hard truth. I think that aspect could have been explored more in this story. His doubts maybe even show Isom doubting himself, and that he could save Sam at all a bit of PTSD in the moment, but he overcomes it and then he saves Sam. I feel like that would have hit in this book. Gooding was amazing in this book, kind of reminded me of Tony Stark if he was smart enough to charge for his work. I'm not going to laugh this time. His skills and expertise in this book was exciting to read. Now I'm even more hype for his own book. The fact he already knew Bloodruth made me think, who else does Gooding know? What other connections does he have? He helped Avery massively in this book. Avery now has to stop his mission on what's going on with Jasmine to rescue his friend Sam. And what people don't realize about this story is Isom didn't forget about Jasmine at all. But in the midst of that, he now has to save people from demonic creatures coming through another realm of existence. Bloodruth is an interesting character. She's like a gatekeeper for our realm, pretty much, and all her awesome beasts and dragons with her is so cool. I have a feeling she is way older than we realize, and she doesn't stay in this realm often. And her blood powers, I called her a blood witch when we first saw her, but actually she's more of a blood bender. And it takes a lot out of her just to do her powers on a larger scale. The fight scenes was great. Some could have been executed differently, but that's just my own practically taste. Each character in this book had a part to play, and I wonder what Yaira is doing with Projexis, and her plans seem twisted to me. I enjoyed the art and the writing. Eric is definitely improving as a comic book writing. I love to see that. Overall, I enjoyed Isom number 2 and can't wait for Isom 3. Thank you for reading my review of Isom number 2. Like, repost, and hit that follow for more reviews like this one. I did both of those things. I liked it and reposted it.
Nice review.
Yeah, it was a great review of Isom number 2. My favorite part of that review has to be, saying if only Tony Stark charged for his work like Gooding does, he'd probably be a lot smarter.
The government contractor, Tony Stark, that guy.
Yeah.
I can see why Eric liked that review.
Because it's one thing to be like on your own. Hey, this sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. Whatever. Okay, cool. Congratulations. But when you start getting you have animosity towards people that are into what it is that we put out, I don't know, man. That shit's weird.
I don't have animosity. I love that guy. I don't hate him at all.
Renault Zero, shout out to you. I see you in the chat. One perfect example. Yeah, these people get irate. They get actually mad, and it's such a
it's a weird thing, like the projection element of it. Like we discussed this before, the lie that is X person can't take criticism, right? It's just, so it's a projection. Really what they can't handle is other people disagreeing with them on creative endeavors or creative properties or whatever it is.
Yeah, it is.
Criticize your
Like, it
critique.
shouldn't be like that, man. Like let people.
Man, God forbid his comic was like a success and he got more than one review of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like a normal amount of reviews for a normal mainstream anything. Oof.
Flip down, man. He would have turned inside out.
Like they like us, right? And they're going to. It's just what it is. Nobody's. I think what people, maybe it's an ego thing. It's like some folks feel like their opinion has to be the opinion, and if anything we've learned, I mean,
Eric really does believe that like it is a matter of there only being like one opinion. Like he thinks this is people trying to force one opinion on him, and he's just like, don't you understand? There's this other group of people that have this other opinion that what I've written is great. And he still doesn't understand the concept of criticism at all. He doesn't get it. And it really bothers him. Like it's still every single video that we watch of him is him still dealing with August of last year. Was it August?
But he does criticism. Like he's in that Black Widow comic movie describing why he liked it. Like he understands the compulsion to like break down, art into themes and crap.
Doesn't he? I mean, does he? I didn't see any of that. I just saw him talk about how he really liked the book. But I mean,
so.
you go to the movies and you go see Madam Web, and it's like, well, what about the people who liked it, Eric? Surely you can deal with the fact that there are people out there that liked what it is that Sony did. It is.
I think that's the thing that kills me is like the criticism. I mean, these I'm going to say the critics on YouTube, right? That in being him, that can't take any type of criticism. It's like, kind of weird.
With anything creative, is that you're gonna have people that feel one way or the other. There is no the opinion. That's just kind of what it is. Reno Zero with a 35 months to look forward to the Iron.
I love him so much.
Mad
dude.
about my photo with the Saskas. Keep grinding and keep being great. Yeah, let them be mad.
Sturgis.
Shout out to you, man. Keep up with that content.
Keep up with that Sturgis content.
Ultimate salesman. Sturgis, stay tuned. I got a special video about success just for you. I made it just for you. You're the only person who's interested in this. Eric, I'm on it. I'm on it, and I'm going to sell the shit out of your comic to absolutely nobody because nobody's watching my streams.
Oh, it's so great. All right, what is this? Somebody sent me 18 seconds of the Saska sisters here being Christians. Let me see. Because they've, Eric says that they've changed their ways.
Yeah.
Monster Fest 22.
And then we have these barriers like religion that tell us, oh, it's a sin to do this. And I'm like, maybe, but maybe also not.
Yeah, it's like a 50 Shades of the Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, Mel Gibson will love this one.
Maybe.
They're fucking evil, dude. I'm sorry. They're so fucking evil. It's great. Oh, guys, what can I tell you? Trashcast will continue. Dick, I want to thank you for being here, man. I just asked you today. A lot of people are like, when are you going to get Dick on the show? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, would he come on the show? And I just asked you today, and I said, I'm going to drop you the link until you feel like coming in. You came right in, man. I really appreciate you. I think you're hilarious. Biggest problem in the universe. Every Friday, is it?
Yeah, Friday at 6. Come by or watch the replay if you're going to watch your show at the same time. I don't know. TheDickShow.com, Patreon.com/TheDickShow. It was a pleasure. This is an unmissable show, this Trashcast series. You look so happy. I'm jealous of how happy you are.
Well, I don't have to sit next to Vito. I mean, Vito is
a nightmare. Oh, God. He's so mercurial for somebody that's so fat. He's depressed one day. He's just euphoric another day. There's no predicting it. He's like
It makes the show so fun, man. Biggest Problem in the Universe is a terrific show, and I never miss it. I watch it all the time, except for I haven't watched this last one, but I definitely will. Dick, you're the best, man. Anything that I can do for you, you let me know. And
give me
I'm
those
here.
FlashCast prices if I ever need a cover written. That's what the
Hell
yellow
yeah,
flash
dude.
prices. That's what I want.
Of course.
I want the yellow flash prices.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna read some
Yeah.
super chats. I don't want
See
to
ya.
bore you with that, but you take care, pal. Thank you.
Good to meet you, Shane.
Good meeting you.
Dick Masterson, one of the most hated people in the community. Couldn't be nicer.
I
Great
was
guy.
scared of him when he came in.
Yeah. Oh, Dick he's
I was like, and he was quite pleasant to stream with. Like,
of course, yeah. He's a professional broadcaster. He's good.